What if your greatest potential is trapped behind endless distractions? Atomic Focus isn't just an audiobook, it's your awakening. Discover how to reprogram your brain, harness laser-sharp attention, and unlock the unstoppable version of you the world hasn't met yet. Introduction. What if I told you that your brain is being hijacked right now? Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. The very device you're listening to this on, the apps you scroll, the pings, the buzzes, the endless notifications, they aren't just distractions. They are part of a billion-dollar war for your attention. And here's the terrifying truth. Most of us are losing. Slowly, silently, invisibly, we are surrendering our focus, our clarity, our potential. And with it, we're giving up the life we could have lived. You've felt it, haven't you? That fractured sensation when you try to concentrate, but your mind is scattered across 100 tabs, both digital and mental. That haunting emptiness after a dopamine binge when you've consumed for hours but created nothing. That gnawing sense that you're capable of more, but something just beyond your grasp is keeping you stuck. It's not laziness. It's not a lack of willpower. It's that your mind is being pulled apart by a system designed to exploit it. And unless you take back control, you will remain a puppet in someone else's play. That's why this audiobook exists. This isn't another shallow productivity guide. This is a survival manual for the age of distraction. This is your blueprint to atomic focus, a methodical, neuroscience-backed system to reclaim your attention, rebuild your mental stamina, and rewire your brain for deep, deliberate, life-changing concentration. Atomic doesn't mean small. It means foundational, indivisible, unbreakable, the kind of focus that anchors your life, unlocks your creativity, supercharges your execution, and helps you become the person you know you're meant to be. You see, we've reached a critical tipping point. The world is noisier than ever before. Our tools are smarter, faster, more addictive. We're being bombarded with more information in 24 hours than our ancestors encountered in an entire year. And with every swipe, click, scroll, and next episode, our mental muscles atrophy. But here's the good news. The same brain that's been conditioned for distraction can be rewired for mastery. Focus is not a gift, it's a skill. And like any skill, it can be trained if you know how. So, let me ask you, what would your life look like if you had unshakable focus? If you could sit down and work for 2 hours straight, no interruptions, no impulse to check your phone, no self-sabotage, if you could actually finish what you start, if your mornings were sacred, your mind was clear, your days were productive, and your nights were restful, if you could pour yourself fully into your goals, your passions, your relationships, without the constant drag of distraction pulling you under. That's not a fantasy. That's the promise of atomic focus. We'll uncover the psychology and neuroscience of attention, understand why we've become so scattered, and reveal a step-by-step approach to training your mind like an athlete conditions their body. We'll dive into rituals, environments, mental models, and behavior loops that will help you break free from the noise, and more importantly, stay free. But this only works if you commit, because listening to this audiobook passively won't change your life, but engaging with it, chapter by chapter, practice by practice, will. This book is structured for maximum transformation. Each chapter dives deep into one key pillar of focused living, starting with the roots of distraction, then building upward into habit formation, attention training, deep work, environmental mastery, and finally, sustained flow. You'll discover powerful subtopics in every chapter, each crafted with real-world applications and psychology-based techniques to lock in results. Think of this as your 14-week reset, your mental detox, your pathway to clarity in the age of chaos. Use this audiobook in sequence. Don't skip around. Let each chapter work on your brain like compound interest, small shifts. Now that become exponential gains later, and most importantly, take action. Do the exercises, reflect on the prompts, experiment, adjust, recommit. Let this be a dialogue, not a monologue. Your brain is listening. Train it wisely, because here's the truth the world doesn't want you to hear. A focused mind is an unstoppable mind, and the future belongs to those who can master their attention. So welcome to your transformation. Welcome to your mental revolution. Welcome to Atomic Focus. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Modern Focus Crisis. In the modern world, it feels as though distractions are constantly at our heels. The noise, the notifications, the messages, all of them demand our attention with a persistence that is both subtle and overwhelming. We live in an age where being constantly connected is no longer a luxury. It's an expectation. You might be reading this on your phone, perhaps while checking an email, or scrolling through your social media feed for the latest updates on your friends or colleagues. At any moment, a ping from a message or a notification might pull you away from this task, and that's the problem. We are no longer fully in control of where our attention goes. It is being hijacked by the constant flow of information, demands, and distractions from every direction. The world is designed to grab our attention, but the question is, what are we willing to do to regain control? Can we regain focus in a world that is fighting for it? In the first step of understanding how we've arrived here, it's essential to recognize that we have entered a new era of human existence, a time when attention itself has become the most valuable resource. Much like oil or data, attention is being mined and its value has skyrocketed in the digital economy. From apps and social media platforms to the very websites we visit, everything is designed to capture our attention and keep it captive for as long as possible. The attention economy, which we will explore further, thrives on the idea that the more time we spend engaging with digital content, the more profitable the system becomes. But this system comes at a personal cost. For every notification, for every ping of a message or update, we lose a fraction of our ability to focus, to think deeply, and to engage with the tasks that matter most in our lives. The issue is not just about being distracted. It's about the subtle erosion of our ability to direct our attention where we need it most. The consequence is profound. Over time, it becomes harder and harder to focus, to sit still, and to give ourselves the space to think creatively, reflect, and work deeply. We have become addicted to distraction. The question we need to ask is, how do we break free from this cycle? How do we reclaim our focus and begin to take back control of our attention in a world that is determined to scatter it in every direction? The myth of multitasking. One of the most pervasive myths in the modern world is the idea that multitasking is a sign of efficiency. We've all been led to believe that if we can do more things at once, we are somehow more productive. It seems logical, doesn't it? If you can answer emails while watching a webinar, or check your social media notifications while in the middle of a meeting, surely you're accomplishing more. But the truth is far more complicated. Neuroscientific research has consistently shown that our brains are simply not wired to perform multiple high-concentration tasks simultaneously. What we're actually doing when we multitask is task switching, and task switching is the enemy of deep focus. Each time we switch from one task to another, we have to reorient our thoughts and recalibrate our focus. This process is not instantaneous. It requires cognitive energy, and with each switch, our brain faces a small but significant reset. Over time, this constant shifting leads to mental exhaustion. Rather than accomplishing more, multitasking results in decreased productivity and a higher likelihood of mistakes. Research has shown that people who multitask regularly are less able to retain information, and they struggle to synthesize new ideas because their brains are constantly in a state of distraction. The real cost of multitasking is not just about the time lost in switching between tasks, but also the cognitive load it places on our brain. It's like trying to fill a cup with water while holding the cup and constantly pouring and spilling. You may feel busy, but you're never actually accomplishing what you set out to do. The result? A sense of frustration, overwhelm, and burnout. Understanding the detrimental effects of multitasking is one of the first steps toward regaining control of your focus. It's about realizing that true productivity doesn't lie in doing more things at once, but in doing fewer things with greater intention. By embracing single tasking and allowing ourselves to immerse fully in one activity, we can reclaim the clarity and focus that multitasking steals from us. But breaking free from this pattern requires conscious effort. It requires us to challenge the deeply ingrained habits and beliefs that multitasking is a sign of efficiency. It requires a shift in how we view work and focus. Information overload and cognitive fatigue. The modern world is overwhelmed with information. We live in a time where we are constantly bombarded by news, articles, social media posts, emails, and advertisements, each trying to capture a piece of our attention. The constant stream of information, much of it irrelevant or distracting, creates a heavy cognitive load. This overload is not just an inconvenience, it's a serious barrier to focus and mental clarity. Every piece of information we consume requires processing, and when there is too much to process, our brains become fatigued. This is known as cognitive overload. The concept of cognitive overload refers to a state where the volume of information exceeds our brain's capacity to process it effectively. Our brains, much like any other processing unit, have limited bandwidth. When we are continuously exposed to an overwhelming amount of information, our cognitive resources are spread thin. Instead of focusing on the task at hand, our minds are constantly scanning for new bits of information, unable to settle into deep thought. This results in shallow, fragmented thinking, which hampers our ability to make clear, decisive judgments. Cognitive overload also leads to increased stress, anxiety, and mental exhaustion, making it even harder to focus. The more we are exposed to a never-ending stream of information, the harder it becomes to engage in meaningful, productive work. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. There's too much coming at us at once, and we end up drowning in it. This overload affects not only our work, but also our well-being, as our brains struggle to process the constant influx of stimuli. And the longer we remain in this state of information overload, the more difficult it becomes to return to a state of calm and focus. To overcome this, we have to be intentional about the information we allow into our lives. This means setting boundaries around what we consume, limiting distractions, and choosing to engage only with content that aligns with our goals and values. By reducing the noise, we can begin to regain the mental clarity and focus necessary for deep work and meaningful achievement. Why focus feels so hard? So why, despite all the advancements in technology and our ever-connected world, does focus feel so hard to achieve? The answer lies in the way our brains are wired. Our brains are designed to seek out novelty, reward, and instant gratification. This is due to the powerful role of dopamine, a neurotransmitter that is involved in pleasure, learning, and motivation. Dopamine is released in response to rewards, and in the modern world, we are bombarded with endless sources of reward. Whether it's the ping of a new message, a like on a post, or the next viral video. Each of these triggers a small dopamine release, reinforcing the behavior and making us crave more. The result is that our brains become conditioned to seek out these immediate, small rewards rather than engaging in tasks that require prolonged attention and effort. This is where the challenge lies. Focusing on a single task, especially one that is complex or requires deep thinking, is not inherently rewarding in the way that instant gratification is. Our brains have been trained to crave the immediate hits of dopamine that come with checking our phones or scrolling through social media. This creates a cycle of distraction that is difficult to break. We start to feel anxious when we're not receiving a constant stream of rewards, and as a result, we are less inclined to engage in tasks that require sustained effort and attention. It's a vicious cycle, and the longer we remain in it, the more difficult it becomes to escape. The key to breaking this cycle lies in understanding how dopamine affects our focus and intentionally designing our environments and behaviors to promote deeper, more sustained engagement. As we conclude this first chapter, it's essential to understand that the challenge we face is not about lacking willpower or discipline. It's about the world around us and how it has been structured to fragment our attention. The distractions, the endless flow of information, and the allure of instant gratification are powerful forces that shape the way we think and work. However, the good news is that by understanding these forces, we can begin to regain control. The journey to mastering our focus is not a quick fix. It's a process. But with intention and awareness, it is possible to retrain our minds and reclaim our attention from the distractions that dominate our lives. In the next chapters, we will explore how to build focus, create environments conducive to deep work, and develop habits that support sustained concentration. The path to mastering focus begins with awareness. And now that you've taken the first step, the journey toward clarity and productivity is within your reach. This chapter lays the groundwork for understanding the modern focus crisis, setting up the framework for practical solutions that follow in subsequent chapters. If you'd like, I can continue developing the next chapters in this immersive and in-depth style. Chapter 2: Reclaiming Your Focus. As we explored the causes behind our modern focus crisis, the overwhelming distractions, the allure of instant gratification, and the constant barrage of information all contribute to the erosion of our attention spans. But now that we've identified the problem, it's time to shift gears and talk about how we can reclaim our focus. How can we train our minds to resist the pull of distractions and immerse ourselves in the work that truly matters? How can we cultivate the kind of focus that leads to deep, meaningful progress in both our personal and professional lives? This chapter will explore these questions by diving into practical strategies and habits that can help us regain control over our attention and master the art of focus. Reclaiming your focus starts with a deep understanding of the importance of attention in your life. The ability to focus is not just about productivity. It's about aligning your actions with your values, your long-term goals, and your deepest desires. In a world that constantly tries to pull your attention in 1,000 different directions, it can be easy to forget why focus matters in the first place. We live in a society that prizes busyness, that measures success by how many tasks we can juggle at once, how many meetings we can attend, and how quickly we can respond to every message and notification. But true success, real, lasting success, does not come from fragmented attention. It comes from the ability to direct your focus to what is truly important, to engage deeply with tasks that move you closer to your goals, and to cultivate a life that is meaningful and fulfilling. Focusing on the right things with intention and purpose is the foundation of everything you will achieve. In this chapter, we will explore how to harness the power of focus to transform your life and begin mastering your mind in a distracted world. The power of single tasking. One of the most powerful ways to regain your focus is by embracing the principle of single tasking. Single tasking is the antithesis of multitasking, which we debunked in the previous chapter. Instead of juggling multiple tasks at once, single tasking is about dedicating your full attention to one task, one project, or one idea for as long as necessary to make meaningful progress. The beauty of single tasking is that it allows you to engage with your work at a deep, focused level. When you fully immerse yourself in a task, you can think more clearly, produce higher quality work, and feel a greater sense of satisfaction and accomplishment when it is complete. The first step to embracing single tasking is to eliminate distractions. This means intentionally creating an environment that supports focus. Put your phone on silent, close unnecessary tabs on your computer, and eliminate anything else that could potentially interrupt your work. Creating a distraction-free environment is crucial because, as we discussed earlier, even small distractions can have a profound impact on your ability to maintain focus. If you want to engage deeply with your work, you must first ensure that nothing is pulling your attention away. This might require setting boundaries with the people around you, scheduling uninterrupted blocks of time, or even finding a physical space where you can focus without disturbance. But the environment is just one part of the equation. The mental discipline required to embrace single tasking is just as important. In our hyper-connected world, our brains are constantly conditioned to jump from one thing to the next. We are trained to crave the instant gratification that comes with switching tasks, checking our phones, or scrolling through social media. To embrace single tasking, we must train our minds to resist these impulses. This takes practice. It requires us to develop the ability to sit with discomfort, to resist the urge to check our phones, and to give ourselves permission to focus fully on one task at a time. Over time, as we commit to single tasking, it becomes easier and more natural. We begin to experience the benefits of sustained focus, greater clarity, deeper engagement, and more meaningful results. Single tasking is not just about productivity. It's about rediscovering the joy of doing work that matters. Creating rituals for focus. Another key strategy for reclaiming your focus is the creation of rituals. Rituals are intentional, structured routines that signal to your brain that it is time to focus. Just as athletes have pre-game rituals that prepare them mentally and physically for the game ahead, you can create rituals that prepare your mind for deep work. These rituals can take many forms, depending on your personal preferences and the type of work you do. For example, you might begin your day with a short meditation, a few minutes of deep breathing, or a review of your goals for the day. This simple act of pausing to center yourself can help you shift from a state of scattered thoughts and distractions into a state of focus and clarity. You can also create rituals that signal the beginning and end of a work session. These rituals can be as simple as a 5-minute walk, a cup of tea, or a short journaling exercise. The key is to make these rituals consistent and intentional. When you perform these actions before beginning a task, your brain will start to associate them with focus and deep work. Over time, these rituals will become ingrained habits that help you transition smoothly into a state of concentration. But rituals don't just help you get started. They can also help you stay focused during a task. If you find your mind wandering, taking a moment to reset with your ritual can help you refocus. A brief pause, a deep breath, or a quick stretch can refresh your mind and bring your attention back to the task at hand. Rituals are a way of training your brain to enter a state of focus on command, and by consistently practicing these rituals, you create a mental environment where focus becomes easier and more natural. The importance of downtime and recovery. While it may seem counterintuitive, one of the most important elements of maintaining focus is taking regular breaks and allowing your mind time to recover. In our culture of constant hustle and busyness, we are often taught that rest is a luxury, that taking breaks is a sign of weakness or laziness. But nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, rest is essential to maintaining focus and mental clarity. The brain, like any other muscle, needs time to recharge and recover. Without adequate rest, your focus will inevitably suffer. Taking regular breaks is not just about giving your brain a chance to rest. It's about ensuring that you can maintain sustained attention throughout the day. Research has shown that the human brain can only focus intensely for about 90 minutes before it needs a break. After this period, our cognitive abilities begin to decline, and we become more susceptible to distractions. By taking regular breaks, you allow your brain to rest and reset, so that when you return to your work, you can engage with it at a high level of focus and energy. The Pomodoro technique, for example, is a popular method that involves working in 25-minute intervals, followed by short breaks. This technique helps to maintain a high level of focus while ensuring that the brain does not become overwhelmed or fatigued. But breaks are not just about avoiding burnout. They also help to enhance creativity and problem solving. When you step away from a task, your subconscious mind continues to work on the problem, often leading to new insights or ideas. This is why some of our best ideas come when we're doing something unrelated to work, like taking a walk or having a shower. Downtime is not a waste of time. It's an essential part of the creative and cognitive process. In fact, the most productive and focused individuals are often those who prioritize rest and recovery just as much as work. The role of mindfulness in focus. Finally, mindfulness is a powerful tool for enhancing focus and reclaiming your attention. Mindfulness involves being fully present in the moment, without judgment or distraction. It's about paying attention to your thoughts, feelings, and sensations, without getting caught up in them. Practicing mindfulness can help you train your brain to stay focused on the task at hand and to resist the constant pull of distractions. When you practice mindfulness, you develop the ability to notice when your attention is drifting and gently bring it back to the present moment. There are many ways to practice mindfulness, from meditation and deep breathing exercises to simply paying attention to your surroundings and sensations throughout the day. The key is to cultivate an awareness of your thoughts and behaviors without getting attached to them. When you practice mindfulness, you begin to recognize the patterns of distraction and resistance that arise when you're trying to focus. Over time, you can train your mind to return to the task at hand with greater ease and less frustration. Mindfulness also helps to reduce stress and anxiety, which are often at the root of our inability to focus. When we are stressed, our minds race, and it becomes difficult to concentrate on anything for an extended period. By practicing mindfulness, we can calm the racing thoughts and create a sense of mental clarity that allows us to focus more effectively. In this chapter, we've explored several strategies for reclaiming your focus in a world full of distractions. Single tasking, creating rituals, taking regular breaks, and practicing mindfulness are all powerful tools that can help you regain control of your attention. But reclaiming your focus is not a one-time effort. It's an ongoing process. As you begin to implement these strategies, you'll start to notice shifts in your ability to concentrate, think clearly, and engage deeply with your work. The more you practice these habits, the easier it will become to master your focus and unlock your full potential. The journey to mastering your attention begins with small, consistent changes, and with each step, you'll be closer to living a life of greater clarity, creativity, and productivity. Chapter 3: Building Mental Resilience for Focus. In the journey toward mastering focus, there's one essential element that cannot be overlooked: mental resilience. The ability to remain focused and productive in a world brimming with distractions is not something that happens overnight. It requires strength, perseverance, and the capacity to push through moments of discomfort. Focus isn't just a skill. It's a form of mental fortitude that is built over time. The resilience you develop along the way will not only enhance your ability to concentrate, but will also help you weather the inevitable storms of life, such as setbacks, challenges, and distractions. This chapter is dedicated to understanding and developing mental resilience as the cornerstone of sustained focus and deep work. We will explore how resilience influences focus, how you can build your mental toughness, and how to navigate the inevitable challenges that arise as you pursue your most meaningful goals. Mental resilience is often misunderstood. We tend to associate resilience with the ability to bounce back from adversity, to overcome obstacles, and to keep moving forward despite hardships. While this is certainly a part of it, mental resilience is also about your capacity to stay committed to your goals, to maintain focus and attention, and to endure moments of discomfort when it would be easier to give in to distractions. Building mental resilience is about developing the mental stamina required to stay focused for extended periods of time, to push through moments of frustration and fatigue, and to not be swayed by every passing temptation or shiny object that threatens to derail your progress. Resilience isn't just about recovering from failure. It's about staying engaged and committed to the process, even when it feels difficult or exhausting. The more resilient you become, the better equipped you will be to manage your focus and attention in the face of distractions. The science of mental resilience and focus. To understand mental resilience better, it's important to take a closer look at the science behind it. Our brains are wired to seek out novelty and reward, which is why distractions can be so enticing. When we check our phones, scroll through social media, or click on something that catches our eye, our brain releases a burst of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and motivation. This immediate reward reinforces the behavior, making it harder to resist the next distraction. The problem is that this constant need for novelty and instant gratification undermines our ability to stay focused for long periods of time. Our brains are not naturally wired for sustained attention in a world filled with endless distractions. However, the brain's plasticity, its ability to change and adapt, offers hope. Research has shown that just as you can train your muscles to grow stronger through exercise, you can train your brain to become more resilient to distractions and better at focusing over time. The process is similar to physical training. It requires consistent effort, dedication, and patience. One of the most effective ways to build mental resilience is through practice. Just as an athlete builds endurance by gradually increasing the intensity of their workouts, you can build mental endurance by intentionally practicing focus and attention. The more you practice staying focused, the more resilient your mind will become. In addition to practicing focus, research has also shown that resilience can be enhanced by cultivating a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities, including your capacity for focus, can be developed through effort and persistence. When you view challenges as opportunities for growth, you are less likely to become discouraged when things get tough. You understand that setbacks and failures are part of the process, not signs of inadequacy. A growth mindset helps you stay engaged with the task at hand, even when your mind begins to wander, or when you encounter obstacles. It encourages you to view difficulties as stepping stones to greater focus and mastery, rather than as reasons to give up or abandon your goals. By embracing a growth mindset, you reinforce your resilience and your ability to focus on long-term goals. Training your focus muscles. Practical techniques. Building mental resilience is not just about theory. It requires practical techniques that you can use to train your focus in real-world situations. One of the most effective methods for training focus is through the use of mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness is the practice of observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment, and it has been shown to significantly improve focus and attention. Through regular mindfulness practice, you can train your mind to become more aware of distractions and gently redirect your focus back to the task at hand. By engaging in mindfulness exercises, you develop the ability to observe distractions without getting lost in them, allowing you to stay present and focused on your goals. Another powerful technique for training mental resilience is the practice of deep work, a concept popularized by Cal Newport in his book, Deep Work: Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World. Deep work refers to the act of engaging in cognitively demanding tasks with full attention and minimal distractions. Newport argues that deep work is essential for achieving high levels of productivity and success, especially in today's economy, where attention is the most valuable resource. Deep work is not just about working longer hours, it's about working with intention and focus. By setting aside dedicated time for deep work and eliminating distractions, you create an environment in which your brain can perform at its highest level. A helpful approach to deep work is the practice of time blocking, a method where you schedule specific blocks of time for different tasks or activities. During these blocks, you commit to focusing solely on the task at hand without checking your phone, responding to emails, or engaging in any other distractions. Time blocking helps you structure your day and ensures that you have ample time for focused, high-quality work. By practicing deep work regularly, you strengthen your ability to concentrate and build mental resilience, which will pay off in the long run as you continue to tackle larger, more complex tasks. Overcoming mental fatigue and burnout. As you build your mental resilience and develop stronger focus, it's important to recognize the signs of mental fatigue and burnout. Mental resilience is not about pushing yourself to the limit without rest. It's about knowing when to take a step back and recharge. While resilience helps you push through challenges, it's equally important to know how to protect your mental energy. Pushing too hard without proper recovery can lead to burnout, which is characterized by physical and emotional exhaustion, cynicism, and a decrease in performance. One of the keys to avoiding burnout is to listen to your body and mind. If you're feeling mentally fatigued, it's essential to take breaks and rest. This doesn't just mean taking short breaks throughout the day. It also means incorporating recovery periods into your long-term schedule. Sleep, in particular, plays a crucial role in mental resilience. Research has shown that adequate sleep is essential for cognitive function, focus, and emotional regulation. Without proper rest, your brain cannot perform at its best, and your resilience will begin to fade. By prioritizing rest and recovery, you allow your mind to rebuild its mental energy, which in turn enhances your ability to focus. Another important aspect of overcoming mental fatigue is to regularly engage in activities that help you de-stress and unwind. Physical exercise, hobbies, spending time with loved ones, and practicing mindfulness are all effective ways to recharge your mental batteries. These activities not only help you relax, but also promote overall well-being, which is crucial for maintaining mental resilience. By balancing work with relaxation and self-care, you ensure that your focus and productivity remain at their peak. Developing emotional resilience to enhance focus. In addition to mental resilience, emotional resilience plays a critical role in your ability to maintain focus. Emotions, especially negative emotions, can be significant distractions that derail your attention. When you're feeling anxious, frustrated, or overwhelmed, it can be difficult to concentrate on the task at hand. Emotional resilience is the ability to manage your emotions in a way that doesn't interfere with your focus. One of the most effective ways to develop emotional resilience is through emotional regulation techniques. Practices like deep breathing, self-compassion, and cognitive reframing can help you manage your emotions and reduce their impact on your focus. For instance, if you find yourself feeling frustrated during a task, instead of letting that frustration derail your progress, you can use deep breathing techniques to calm your nervous system and return to the task with a clear mind. Similarly, practicing self-compassion allows you to avoid getting stuck in negative thought patterns, which can hinder your ability to stay focused. By developing emotional resilience, you create an internal environment that supports sustained attention and productivity. In this chapter, we've explored how mental resilience is the foundation of sustained focus. By training your brain to overcome distractions, developing deep work habits, managing mental fatigue, and strengthening emotional resilience, you build a powerful framework for long-term focus and productivity. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back from failure. It's about cultivating the mental toughness necessary to stay committed to your goals, to push through discomfort, and to maintain a high level of focus in the face of distractions. The journey to mastering your focus is a marathon, not a sprint, and the more resilient you become, the more effortless and natural your focus will feel. With time, patience, and consistent practice, you will develop the mental strength needed to overcome any challenge and stay on track toward achieving your most meaningful goals. Chapter 4: The Power of Routine in Strengthening Focus. In the quest for sustained focus, one of the most powerful tools at your disposal is the creation of effective routines. Human beings are creatures of habit, and our brains thrive on patterns and predictability. The truth is, the more you can automate the processes that support your focus, the less mental energy you waste on decisions that drain your cognitive resources. A well-established routine provides structure, reduces stress, and ensures that your focus is directed toward what truly matters. In this chapter, we will explore how creating routines that support focus can significantly boost productivity, reduce distractions, and ensure long-term success. By examining the science behind habits and routines, as well as practical strategies to build your own personalized systems, we will uncover how you can tap into the power of routine to master focus in your daily life. When we talk about routines, we are not just referring to the mundane tasks we complete on a daily basis, such as brushing our teeth or getting dressed. Routines that enhance focus are intentionally designed to reduce decision fatigue and optimize your mental energy for high-priority tasks. These routines can be thought of as scaffolding for your productivity. They provide a foundation on which you can build your workday, ensuring that you have the structure and discipline necessary to maintain focus over long periods of time. Establishing routines helps remove the chaos and unpredictability that often undermine our ability to stay engaged with our work. It is a way of setting the stage for success before you even begin. Routines eliminate unnecessary distractions, give you a sense of control over your day, and enable you to focus more effectively on what truly matters. The more consistently you follow a routine, the more deeply ingrained the behaviors become, which means that maintaining focus and productivity starts to feel more automatic, less like an uphill battle. The science behind habits and routine formation. To understand the true power of routines, it's important to delve into the science of habit formation. Our brains are wired to seek out efficiency. The more we repeat a behavior, the more the neural pathways associated with that behavior are strengthened. This is how habits are formed, through repeated actions that eventually become automatic. Initially, habits require conscious effort, but over time, they become ingrained in our daily routines, requiring little to no thought. This is why habits can be so powerful. They allow us to do things without expending significant mental energy. But while habits are essential, they need to be formed intentionally, especially when they are designed to support focus. The habit loop consists of 3 stages: the cue, the routine, and the reward. The cue is the trigger that initiates the behavior. The routine is the behavior itself, the actions you take in response to the cue. The reward is the positive reinforcement that follows the behavior, which reinforces the habit loop and makes it more likely that the behavior will be repeated in the future. To create a routine that supports focus, you need to ensure that each of these stages is carefully designed. For example, if you want to build a habit of morning meditation to prime your brain for focus, the cue could be waking up, the routine would be a 10-minute meditation session, and the reward could be the mental clarity you experience afterward. Over time, this habit becomes automatic, and the routine of meditation becomes an essential part of your day that supports sustained focus and productivity. The power of morning routines. One of the most transformative routines you can build is a morning routine. How you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows, and a well-designed morning routine can provide the structure, clarity, and mental energy needed to stay focused throughout the day. Successful people often attribute their productivity and success to the power of morning routines. The key to an effective morning routine is that it should be intentional and purposeful, aligning with your goals and priorities. A morning routine is your opportunity to take control of your day before the chaos of the world can intervene. It is an act of self-care, discipline, and focus all rolled into one. By establishing a routine in the morning, you create a sense of stability and predictability that helps you move through the rest of the day with more confidence and clarity. To build an effective morning routine, start by considering the activities that leave you feeling energized, focused, and prepared for the day. For some, this might include physical exercise, which boosts circulation and releases endorphins, setting a positive tone for the day. For others, it might be reading or journaling, activities that allow you to center your thoughts and intentions for the day ahead. The idea is to create a routine that supports both your mental and physical well-being, allowing you to approach your workday with clarity, focus, and energy. By establishing a routine that prioritizes your most important tasks, you begin the day with a sense of accomplishment and momentum that can carry you through the rest of the day. The key is to find a routine that works for you and stick with it consistently. Over time, the routine becomes a natural part of your day, helping you stay on track and minimizing distractions before they can take hold. Building a focus-friendly work routine. Once you've established a strong morning routine, the next step is to create a work routine that helps you maintain focus throughout the day. The modern work environment is full of distractions, and it's easy to become sidetracked by emails, meetings, phone calls, or the constant temptation to check social media. The key to maintaining focus in such an environment is to structure your workday in a way that minimizes distractions and prioritizes high-value tasks. A focus-friendly work routine involves setting clear boundaries around when and how you work, ensuring that you dedicate uninterrupted time to your most important tasks. One effective strategy is time blocking, where you divide your day into specific blocks of time, each dedicated to a particular task or project. During these blocks, you commit to working exclusively on the task at hand, with no distractions or interruptions. Time blocking helps you prioritize your work and ensures that you allocate enough time for focused, deep work. To maximize your productivity during these blocks, consider using the Pomodoro technique, which involves working for 25 minutes of focused work, followed by a 5-minute break. After 4 Pomodoros, you take a longer break. This technique is effective because it provides regular intervals of rest, preventing burnout and allowing your brain to maintain focus over longer periods of time. By incorporating time blocking and the Pomodoro technique into your work routine, you create a structured environment that supports deep, undistracted work, allowing you to stay focused on your goals without the constant tug of distractions. The importance of flexibility in your routine. While routines are crucial for building focus, it's important to also allow room for flexibility. Life is unpredictable, and there will inevitably be days when your routine is disrupted, whether due to an unexpected event, illness, or a change in priorities. In these moments, it's essential to remain adaptable and not get discouraged. Mental resilience involves being able to adapt when necessary, and your routines should be designed to accommodate these changes without derailing your overall progress. Flexibility within a routine doesn't mean abandoning the routine entirely when things get tough. Rather, it means adjusting the routine to meet the circumstances. For example, if you have a morning workout scheduled but find that you're running late, you might shorten the workout or replace it with a quick stretching session. The key is to stay consistent with your long-term goals, even if the specific details of the routine need to be adjusted in the short term. By remaining flexible and adaptable, you can continue to make progress toward your focus and productivity goals, even when life throws curveballs. Building evening routines to prepare for tomorrow. Just as a morning routine sets the tone for the day, an evening routine helps you wind down and prepare for the next day. A well-established evening routine can help you relax and transition from work to rest, allowing you to sleep better and wake up feeling refreshed. Evening routines may include activities such as preparing for the next day, reviewing your accomplishments, and engaging in relaxation techniques to help your mind and body unwind. The goal is to create a routine that helps you reflect on the day's successes, clear your mind of any stress, and set yourself up for a productive tomorrow. One of the key aspects of an evening routine is setting boundaries around technology. Exposure to screens, especially before bed, can interfere with your ability to fall asleep and disrupt your sleep cycle. Establishing a technology-free period before bed, where you engage in activities like reading or journaling, can signal to your brain that it's time to wind down and prepare for rest. This period of relaxation is crucial for helping your mind recover from the day's mental exertion and ensuring that you wake up the next day feeling refreshed and ready to focus. Routines are one of the most effective ways to create a foundation for focus and productivity. By establishing habits and routines that support your goals, you reduce mental clutter, eliminate distractions, and create a structured environment that allows your brain to perform at its best. Whether it's your morning routine, your workday structure, or your evening wind down, every aspect of your routine can be designed to enhance focus and productivity. By committing to the routines that work for you, you take control of your time, minimize distractions, and pave the way for long-term success. Chapter 5. Mastering your environment to eliminate distractions. In today's fast-paced world, distractions are everywhere. From the constant ping of notifications to the endless stream of information, it's easy to find ourselves overwhelmed and unfocused. Our ability to stay on task is constantly challenged by the barrage of external stimuli vying for our attention. Whether at home, at work, or in social situations, distractions can derail our productivity and prevent us from fully engaging in the task at hand. To truly master focus, one of the most crucial steps is learning to control and manage these distractions. This chapter will delve into the practical and psychological aspects of minimizing distractions, optimizing your environment, and creating spaces that foster deep work. By understanding the nature of distractions and implementing strategies to eliminate or manage them, you can significantly improve your ability to focus and perform at your best. The first step in mastering distractions is recognizing that they are not simply external forces beyond our control. While technology and external factors certainly play a role, much of the challenge lies in our own habits, choices, and responses. Distractions often arise when we are not fully present or engaged with what we are doing. This could be a result of boredom, lack of interest, or emotional stress. Distractions don't always come from external sources. They can stem from internal triggers such as anxiety, wandering thoughts, or a desire to procrastinate. The key to mastering distractions, then, is not just eliminating external factors, but also training our minds to become more resilient to internal disruptions. By developing a more intentional approach to managing both internal and external distractions, we can enhance our ability to stay focused, productive, and present in the moment. Recognizing the types of distractions. Distractions come in many forms, and recognizing them is the first step in learning how to overcome them. External distractions, such as notifications from your phone, interruptions from colleagues, or the noise in your environment, are the most obvious. These are the distractions we can often see and control. Internal distractions, however, are subtler and more insidious. These include wandering thoughts, daydreaming, worries about future tasks, and even feelings of discomfort or frustration. While we can take steps to mitigate external distractions, internal distractions require a different approach. They demand that we learn how to focus our attention and shift our mental state. Both types of distractions are closely connected and can often exacerbate each other. An external interruption may cause internal stress, which leads to further distractions and a loss of focus. Understanding the nature of these distractions helps us better address them. For example, if your phone is constantly buzzing with messages, you can create a strategy to silence notifications or designate specific times for checking emails and messages. The challenge with internal distractions, however, is that they can be harder to identify and control. These distractions may arise from a lack of mental clarity, emotional turmoil, or even a fear of failure. Internal distractions can often feel like a constant background noise that prevents us from fully immersing ourselves in our work. By acknowledging these internal distractions and adopting strategies to manage them, such as mindfulness techniques, cognitive reframing, or simply acknowledging and letting go of distracting thoughts, we can regain control of our focus and mental clarity. Optimizing your physical environment for focus. Our physical environment plays a significant role in shaping our ability to concentrate. The spaces in which we work, learn, and relax can either support or hinder our focus. Studies have shown that the right environment can enhance productivity, creativity, and mental well-being, while the wrong environment can contribute to stress, distraction, and a lack of focus. Creating an environment that supports your goals and fosters concentration is one of the most effective ways to eliminate distractions and enhance your ability to focus. Begin by considering the elements of your environment that you can control. The arrangement of your workspace, the lighting, the noise level, and the general organization of your physical surroundings all play a part in how well you can concentrate. A cluttered, noisy, or disorganized space can contribute to feelings of chaos and distraction, while a clean, organized, and comfortable environment can promote a sense of calm and focus. Consider how you feel in different environments. Do you find it easier to focus in a quiet room with minimal distractions? Or do you thrive in a more dynamic, bustling environment? Once you understand your preferences, you can design your workspace to accommodate them. One powerful tool for optimizing your physical environment is to create a designated workspace. Whether you're working from home or in an office, having a space that is specifically reserved for work helps your brain associate that environment with productivity. By reserving your workspace for focused work, you signal to your brain that it's time to get to work, which can help you transition more easily into a focused state. This separation between work and leisure spaces is crucial in preventing distractions and creating a clear mental boundary between work and relaxation. Managing digital distractions. In the modern world, digital distractions are among the most pervasive. Social media, email, messaging apps, and even websites that we don't intend to visit can all pull our attention away from the task at hand. The constant flow of information creates a sense of urgency and can easily derail our focus. Managing digital distractions requires intentional strategies that help you reclaim control over your time and attention. One of the most effective ways to minimize digital distractions is to create structured boundaries around your technology usage. This could mean turning off notifications on your phone, setting specific times for checking emails, or using website blockers to prevent access to distracting sites during designated work periods. It's essential to recognize that the goal isn't to eliminate all digital technology from your life, but rather to harness it in a way that supports your productivity. By setting clear boundaries and adhering to them, you prevent technology from hijacking your attention and maintain the mental space necessary for deep, focused work. Another strategy for managing digital distractions is to utilize the single-tasking approach. Multitasking, while often seen as a skill, can actually reduce productivity and impair focus. Studies have shown that multitasking not only reduces efficiency, but also increases cognitive load, making it harder to concentrate on any one task. By focusing on one task at a time and minimizing the number of digital tools and applications you use, you can create a more streamlined, distraction-free work environment. This may mean closing unnecessary tabs in your browser, turning off email alerts, and using apps designed to help you stay on track. Creating mental boundaries. The role of mental clarity. While managing your physical and digital environment is crucial for eliminating distractions, it is equally important to develop mental clarity. Mental clarity refers to the ability to clear your mind of unnecessary thoughts and distractions, allowing you to focus fully on the task at hand. Mental clutter, such as worry, stress, or excessive planning, can lead to distractions that prevent you from staying engaged in your work. Developing mental clarity involves training your mind to stay present, letting go of unproductive thoughts, and creating mental boundaries that support focus. One way to create mental clarity is through mindfulness practices. Mindfulness involves paying attention to the present moment without judgment, allowing you to observe your thoughts without becoming overwhelmed by them. Through regular mindfulness exercises, such as deep breathing or guided meditation, you can train your brain to become more resilient to distractions and better able to focus on the task at hand. Mindfulness allows you to reset your mental state, helping you recover from distractions and return to a place of clarity and focus. Another way to improve mental clarity is to engage in regular reflection. At the end of each day or week, take time to reflect on your accomplishments, challenges, and any distractions you encountered. Reflecting on your day helps you identify patterns in your behavior and environment that may be contributing to distractions. By acknowledging these patterns, you can make adjustments to reduce their impact and create a more conducive environment for focus in the future. Maintaining focus in social situations. Finally, distractions can also arise in social situations, whether they involve family, friends, or colleagues. Social interactions are a natural part of life, but they can sometimes pull our attention away from the task at hand. Managing focus in social situations requires setting clear boundaries and being assertive about your need for uninterrupted time. Start by communicating your needs clearly with others. Let them know when you need focused time and when you're available for socializing. By setting clear boundaries, you ensure that you can dedicate uninterrupted time to work without feeling guilty about neglecting social obligations. Additionally, it's important to recognize that you don't have to be available to everyone at all times. Learning to say no or to set limits on how much time you spend engaging with others is a key part of managing distractions and maintaining focus. By maintaining these boundaries, you protect your time and energy, allowing you to give your full attention to the tasks that matter most. Mastering distractions is an ongoing process, but by developing strategies to manage both external and internal interruptions, you can significantly improve your focus and productivity. Whether it's optimizing your physical space, managing digital distractions, or creating mental clarity, every action you take to eliminate distractions brings you one step closer to mastering your mind and achieving your goals. With intentional effort and strategic planning, you can create an environment where focus thrives and distractions are kept at bay. Chapter 6. The Power of Routine: How Consistency Fuels. Focus. In a world filled with distractions, time management can often feel like an elusive concept. We plan our days, we set goals, but somehow we still struggle to stay on track. The answer to this dilemma doesn't lie in a radical overhaul of how we approach work or life. Instead, the key to sustained focus and productivity lies in the power of routine. Routines are the quiet, unsung heroes that can transform chaotic schedules into structured, purposeful days. A solid routine serves as the foundation upon which deep focus and consistent performance can be built. It's about creating a rhythm that works with your natural tendencies, not against them, allowing you to flow effortlessly from task to task without feeling overwhelmed by the demands of your day. In this chapter, we will explore how routines can be a powerful tool for building and maintaining focus, the psychology behind habit formation, and how you can create a routine that aligns with your personal goals. At its core, a routine is simply a sequence of actions or behaviors that are repeated regularly, often at the same time each day. What makes routines so effective at fostering focus is their ability to reduce decision fatigue. When we don't have to think about what to do next, we conserve cognitive energy for the tasks that matter. Imagine waking up in the morning with a set series of actions already mapped out: brushing your teeth, stretching, eating breakfast, reviewing your goals for the day. These automatic behaviors become ingrained over time, requiring less mental effort to execute. The mental clarity that comes from knowing exactly what to expect throughout the day creates a sense of stability, which in turn enhances focus. Without a routine, we're left with the constant need to make decisions, which depletes our mental energy and makes it harder to concentrate on more important tasks. By designing a daily routine, you essentially create a mental autopilot that keeps you grounded, focused, and productive. The science behind routine, how habits shape our focus. The effectiveness of routines can be understood through the lens of neuroscience. The human brain is wired to seek efficiency. When we engage in repetitive behaviors, our brain forms neural pathways that make those actions more automatic over time. This process, known as habit formation, allows us to perform tasks without expending excessive mental effort. When you repeatedly engage in a routine, your brain learns that these actions are necessary and important, reinforcing them with positive feedback loops. Over time, these habits become ingrained, making it easier to stick to a routine and continue performing tasks with minimal cognitive effort. This is why routines have such a profound impact on focus. Once something becomes a habit, it no longer requires willpower or motivation to execute. It becomes part of your natural flow. Furthermore, consistency in our routines also plays a key role in boosting focus. Research has shown that when we follow a predictable schedule, our brain enters a state of entrainment, where our internal biological rhythms align with external time cues. This alignment makes it easier for our brain to shift between different tasks and periods of activity. For instance, if you consistently wake up at the same time each day, your body learns to anticipate the start of the day, and your mind becomes more alert and ready for action. The same principle applies to other aspects of our routines. Consistent work periods, regular breaks, and structured relaxation times help to reinforce our brain's ability to focus and concentrate. Over time, these habits become ingrained, leading to a more seamless transition between tasks and, ultimately, improved focus. Building a routine that works for you. Now that we understand the science behind routines and how they shape our focus, the next step is to create a routine that works for your unique lifestyle and goals. The first thing to keep in mind is that routines are highly individual. What works for one person may not necessarily work for another, so it's essential to tailor your routine to fit your specific needs and preferences. Start by considering your natural rhythms and energy levels throughout the day. Some people are most productive in the morning, while others peak in the afternoon or evening. Understanding your own energy patterns will help you design a routine that leverages your natural strengths, allowing you to tackle high-priority tasks when you're at your most alert and focused. A well-structured routine begins with a clear set of priorities. Take some time to identify the key tasks that will move you closer to your long-term goals. These tasks should be non-negotiable and form the backbone of your daily routine. Once you've identified your priorities, it's important to allocate specific time blocks for each task. Time blocking is a powerful technique that involves dedicating set periods of time to specific activities. For example, you might allocate 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for deep work on a project, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. for checking emails, and 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. for brainstorming and creative work. By assigning each task to a specific time block, you remove the mental clutter of wondering what to do next, which frees up more mental energy for actual work. Time blocking also helps to avoid procrastination, as you know exactly when you're scheduled to work on each task. While setting priorities and time blocks is essential, a successful routine also includes time for rest and recovery. Many people make the mistake of overloading their schedule with back-to-back work sessions, leaving no room for relaxation or rejuvenation. This leads to burnout and decreased focus over time. A well-rounded routine includes regular breaks, both short and long, to recharge your mind and body. These breaks not only provide physical rest, but also give you the mental space to refresh your focus. The Pomodoro technique, for example, advocates working for 25 minutes, followed by a 5-minute break with longer breaks after every 4 cycles. This method allows for sustained focus in manageable intervals while ensuring that you don't burn out. Make sure that your routine includes sufficient time for sleep, exercise, and other activities that help you maintain your overall well-being. Overcoming obstacles and sticking to your routine. Building a routine is one thing. Sticking to it is another. Even the most well-designed routines can falter when faced with obstacles, such as unforeseen distractions, lack of motivation, or external pressures. The key to long-term success lies in building resilience and overcoming these challenges. One of the most important strategies for sticking to your routine is to keep it flexible. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes unexpected events will arise that disrupt your carefully planned schedule. Rather than becoming discouraged or abandoning your routine altogether, it's essential to approach these disruptions with a mindset of adaptability. A routine isn't a rigid set of rules. It's a framework that can be adjusted as needed to accommodate life's ups and downs. If you miss a task or fall behind, simply adjust your schedule for the next day or week and continue moving forward. Another challenge many people face when building a routine is maintaining motivation. It's easy to feel excited about a new routine in the beginning, but over time, the novelty can wear off and the motivation to continue may diminish. To stay committed to your routine, it's important to find intrinsic motivation, the drive that comes from within, rather than relying solely on external rewards. This can be achieved by focusing on the underlying reasons behind your routine. For example, instead of focusing solely on the task at hand, remind yourself of the long-term benefits that your routine brings, such as greater productivity, improved health, or the sense of accomplishment that comes with consistent effort. Additionally, tracking your progress and celebrating small wins along the way can help reinforce your commitment to your routine. Recognize that the process of building habits takes time and requires patience. It's normal to face setbacks, but with perseverance, your routine will gradually become second nature. Finally, accountability can be a powerful tool for sticking to your routine. Having someone to check in with, whether a colleague, friend, or coach, can provide an added layer of motivation and support. Sharing your goals with others increases your sense of responsibility and creates a sense of community that encourages consistency. If possible, find an accountability partner who shares similar goals and can help you stay on track. You can also use technology to support your routine, such as apps that track your habits, set reminders, or help you stay focused during work sessions. The long-term benefits of routine. While routines may seem restrictive to some, they actually offer significant freedom in the long run. By creating a predictable framework for your day, you free up mental and emotional energy to focus on the things that matter most. Routines help to remove the constant decision-making that can cause stress and overwhelm, allowing you to focus on high-leverage tasks and long-term goals. Over time, this sense of control and clarity leads to greater productivity, less procrastination, and a deeper sense of accomplishment. The long-term benefits of a routine extend beyond productivity. Regular routines help to foster a sense of stability and reduce anxiety, which are crucial for maintaining focus in both personal and professional life. The structure that a routine provides can help you stay grounded during challenging times, allowing you to maintain your focus even in the face of uncertainty. Moreover, a consistent routine supports better sleep, improved physical health, and enhanced mental well-being, all of which contribute to a more focused and productive life. By now, you can see that the power of routine lies not in its ability to control your every move, but in its capacity to create a sense of order and predictability. With the right routine, you can align your actions with your goals, reduce distractions, and cultivate the mental and physical energy necessary for sustained focus. The next step is to create a routine that works for you, one that supports your unique needs and helps you achieve your highest potential. Chapter 7. Overcoming procrastination. Turning intentions into actions. Procrastination. It's the silent killer of productivity, the nemesis of focus, and a chronic issue for many who struggle to translate their intentions into actions. Despite our best intentions, there's often a gap between what we plan to do and what we actually do. Procrastination isn't just about laziness. It's a complex behavioral pattern driven by a mix of psychological, emotional, and cognitive factors. The more we understand why we procrastinate, the better equipped we are to overcome it. Procrastination is not simply a matter of poor time management or lack of willpower. It is a deeply ingrained habit, and like all habits, it can be unlearned. In this chapter, we will explore the roots of procrastination, why it affects us, and most importantly, how we can break free from its grip. By understanding procrastination, we can transform it from a barrier to productivity into an opportunity for growth and self-mastery. At its core, procrastination is the act of delaying or postponing tasks, often despite knowing the negative consequences that may result. The key to overcoming procrastination lies in understanding why it happens in the first place. One of the most common reasons people procrastinate is fear of failure. When faced with a task, especially one that feels daunting or important, we may subconsciously avoid it because we're afraid of not succeeding. This fear can manifest as perfectionism, the desire to perform perfectly, and can paralyze us from taking any action at all. When we feel like we must complete a task flawlessly, the thought of making mistakes or not meeting our own expectations can be so overwhelming that we avoid the task entirely. The irony is that the more we avoid the task, the more the anxiety around it builds, creating a vicious cycle of procrastination. Another psychological factor that contributes to procrastination is task aversion. If a task feels unpleasant, boring, or overwhelming, we are naturally inclined to avoid it. This is especially true for tasks that require sustained effort over a long period of time, such as writing a report, studying for exams, or cleaning the house. The brain seeks immediate gratification, and tasks that require long-term investment often don't provide the instant rewards that our brains crave. This results in an internal tug-of-war between the desire to avoid discomfort and the need to complete the task. The discomfort of starting or continuing a difficult task can trigger a variety of avoidance behaviors, such as scrolling through social media, watching TV, or engaging in other distractions. In this sense, procrastination is a coping mechanism, albeit a counterproductive one, designed to relieve the anxiety or discomfort associated with the task at hand. The role of self-sabotage. Understanding the emotional drivers of procrastination. To truly understand procrastination, we must also explore the role of self-sabotage. It's easy to blame procrastination on external factors like a busy schedule or lack of time. But the truth is that many of us engage in self-sabotaging behaviors that prevent us from accomplishing our goals. At its heart, procrastination is a form of self-sabotage, a way of avoiding the discomfort of starting, continuing, or completing a task. This behavior is often rooted in negative emotions such as fear, guilt, or shame. For example, when we procrastinate, we may feel a sense of relief in the short term, but that relief is often accompanied by feelings of guilt or self-doubt. We may believe that we're not capable of handling the task or that we're somehow unworthy of success. These negative emotions create a self-fulfilling prophecy. By avoiding the task, we reinforce the belief that we are incapable or inadequate, further fueling our procrastination. Self-sabotage can also occur when we engage in perfectionistic tendencies. Perfectionism can paralyze us with the fear of making mistakes, leading us to procrastinate as a way of avoiding the possibility of failure. This cycle can be particularly insidious because, in the pursuit of perfection, we may delay taking action altogether, believing that we must wait for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, or the perfect outcome. Unfortunately, the pursuit of perfection is a never-ending process. There will always be something that can be improved, something that can be refined. The result is that we put off tasks indefinitely, waiting for the ideal set of circumstances that may never come. The power of small wins, breaking the cycle of procrastination. One of the most effective strategies for overcoming procrastination is to focus on small wins. When a task feels overwhelming, breaking it down into smaller, more manageable pieces can reduce the mental load and make the task feel less daunting. This approach is rooted in the principle of microtasking, dividing larger tasks into tiny actionable steps that can be accomplished in a short amount of time. For example, instead of telling yourself that you need to write a 10-page report, start by focusing on writing one paragraph. The key here is to build momentum. Once you complete that first small task, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment that can propel you forward into the next step. The satisfaction of checking off small tasks creates a positive feedback loop that reinforces your progress and reduces the likelihood of procrastination. In addition to breaking tasks into smaller steps, it's important to focus on the process rather than the outcome. Often, procrastination is fueled by the fear of not achieving perfection or not meeting our expectations. Instead of fixating on the end result, focus on making progress one step at a time. By adopting a mindset that values effort over outcome, you shift the focus from the fear of failure to the satisfaction of taking action. This approach allows you to experience success in real time rather than waiting for a distant future goal to provide validation. When we acknowledge and celebrate our progress, even in small increments, we shift our focus away from perfectionism and toward the intrinsic satisfaction of moving forward. Creating an environment that promotes action, removing barriers to focus. To successfully overcome procrastination, it's essential to create an environment that fosters productivity and minimizes distractions. The space in which we work plays a significant role in determining how easily we can focus and take action. A cluttered, disorganized workspace can trigger feelings of overwhelm and make it difficult to get started. Conversely, a clean, well-organized space can promote a sense of calm and encourage a more focused mindset. One of the simplest ways to combat procrastination is to remove physical distractions from your environment. This may involve clearing your desk of unnecessary items, turning off notifications on your phone, or using website blockers to prevent you from accessing social media or other time-wasting sites during work sessions. Creating a distraction-free zone signals to your brain that it's time to focus, helping you enter a state of deep work. In addition to eliminating distractions, it's also important to establish an environment that supports your mental and emotional well-being. A key aspect of overcoming procrastination is managing the emotional triggers that lead to avoidance behavior. If you tend to procrastinate because a task feels daunting or overwhelming, try to reframe your mindset by focusing on the benefits of completing the task rather than the difficulties. For example, remind yourself of how good it will feel to have a clean house or the satisfaction of submitting a well-written report. Visualizing the positive outcome of your efforts can create a sense of anticipation and motivation to take action. By changing your environment and mental associations with tasks, you can reduce the emotional weight of procrastination and create a mindset that's more conducive to productivity. Developing long-term strategies, cultivating consistency, and self-discipline. While the strategies discussed so far can help break the immediate cycle of procrastination, overcoming it in the long term requires the cultivation of consistency and self-discipline. Procrastination is often a result of a lack of self-regulation. Our ability to control our impulses and prioritize long-term rewards over short-term gratification. Developing self-discipline involves training yourself to take action even when you don't feel like it, and reinforcing that behavior over time. This is where the concept of habit formation comes into play. By building small positive habits around tasks that you typically procrastinate on, you can gradually rewire your brain to associate those tasks with a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. Over time, these habits will become automatic, making it easier to tackle tasks without delay. Consistency is key when it comes to overcoming procrastination. It's not enough to simply adopt new strategies for a short period of time. You must commit to practicing them regularly. The more consistently you take action, the more you will build momentum, and the less likely procrastination will become a barrier to your success. Keep in mind that overcoming procrastination is a process, not an event. It requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to adjust your approach when necessary. While setbacks are inevitable, they should not be seen as failures. Instead, treat them as opportunities to learn and refine your strategies. With time, your ability to take consistent action will grow, and procrastination will lose its grip on your productivity. By the end of this chapter, you should have a clear understanding of the underlying causes of procrastination, as well as practical strategies for overcoming it. Procrastination is not an insurmountable obstacle, but rather a challenge that can be overcome with the right tools and mindset. By breaking tasks into manageable steps, creating a supportive environment, and developing habits of consistency and self-discipline, you can turn procrastination into a thing of the past. Remember, the path to overcoming procrastination is not a sprint. It's a marathon. Every step you take toward taking action is a victory in itself. Keep moving forward and watch your productivity soar. Chapter 8: Managing Distractions, Cultivating Focus in a Noisy World. We live in a world that is perpetually loud, chaotic, and constantly vying for our attention. Whether it's the incessant buzz of social media, the ping of a notification, or the endless streams of information that flood our minds, distractions are everywhere. It's easy to get lost in the noise, and for many, it feels impossible to maintain focus for extended periods of time. But the truth is, the more we allow distractions to dictate our actions, the less control we have over our own lives. In this chapter, we will explore how distractions shape our daily lives, the toll they take on our productivity, and most importantly, how we can regain control by cultivating a sense of focus amidst the noise. Distractions are not a new phenomenon. Humans have always faced interruptions, whether it was the call of a distant relative, the sound of a horse-drawn carriage approaching, or the distractions of the natural world. However, the scale and intensity of distractions in the modern world have reached unprecedented levels. Today, we're constantly connected to technology, often allowing our phones, computers, and other devices to interrupt us at will. The average person checks their phone more than 50 times a day, and every time they do, they experience a shift in their attention. This is known as attention residue, the lingering effect that occurs when we switch from one task to another. Even a brief interruption, such as a notification from social media, can reduce our cognitive performance for up to 25 minutes. The more frequently we allow ourselves to be distracted, the more fragmented our focus becomes, and the less effective we are at completing important tasks. The rise of social media platforms has exacerbated the problem of distractions. These platforms are designed to capture our attention, using sophisticated algorithms to feed us content that aligns with our interests, desires, and emotional triggers. Every scroll, click, and like reinforces our engagement with the platform, creating a feedback loop that becomes harder to break. The problem is not just the time spent on social media, it's the mental energy we expend on these platforms. Research has shown that switching between tasks and being constantly interrupted can deplete our mental resources, making it harder to focus on deep work. This constant mental switching leads to cognitive fatigue, which, over time, can affect our ability to think clearly and make decisions. What starts as harmless scrolling can gradually erode our productivity and sense of well-being. Understanding the psychology of distractions. Why we can't resist. To effectively manage distractions, it's crucial to understand why we're so susceptible to them in the first place. At the root of it all is a psychological phenomenon known as instant gratification. Our brains are wired to seek quick rewards, and in a world filled with digital distractions, these rewards are abundant and immediate. Whether it's the dopamine hit we get from receiving a like on a social media post, or the satisfaction of completing a quick task, our brains are constantly chasing these small, rewarding moments. The problem with this is that while these rewards provide a temporary boost in mood, they don't contribute to long-term satisfaction or growth. In fact, they can often lead to feelings of emptiness and dissatisfaction as we realize that the pursuit of these short-term rewards comes at the expense of our long-term goals. Moreover, distractions also thrive on our tendency to avoid discomfort. When faced with a challenging or uncomfortable task, our natural inclination is to seek out something that provides immediate relief, such as checking our phone or watching a video. This creates a cycle of avoidance where we distract ourselves to escape the discomfort of focusing on a difficult task. Ironically, the more we give in to these distractions, the more difficult the task becomes. By constantly avoiding discomfort, we fail to develop the resilience needed to push through challenging tasks. Over time, this avoidance behavior reinforces itself, making it even harder to maintain focus and take action. Creating an environment for deep work. Designing for focus. One of the most powerful ways to combat distractions is by creating an environment that is conducive to deep work, the kind of focused, uninterrupted work that leads to meaningful progress. The environment in which we work has a profound impact on our ability to concentrate and maintain focus. A cluttered desk, noisy surroundings, or even an unorganized digital workspace can all serve as sources of distraction, pulling our attention away from the task at hand. To cultivate a focus-friendly environment, start by minimizing the physical and digital clutter in your workspace. Keep only the essential tools and materials that you need to complete your work. Remove any items that may distract you, such as your phone or unnecessary gadgets. If you work from home, consider creating a designated workspace that is separate from areas of your home where you relax or socialize. In addition to eliminating physical distractions, it's important to manage your digital environment. Digital distractions can be particularly insidious because they often come disguised as something useful or important. Email, social media, and news apps constantly demand our attention, pulling us away from the work that matters most. One effective strategy is to designate specific times for checking emails or social media, rather than allowing these platforms to interrupt your flow throughout the day. You can also use apps or browser extensions that block distracting websites during designated work periods, allowing you to stay focused on the task at hand. By controlling your digital environment, you reduce the number of distractions vying for your attention, making it easier to concentrate on deep work. The Pomodoro Technique, harnessing time to combat distractions. One of the most effective time management techniques for managing distractions is the Pomodoro Technique. This method involves working in short, focused intervals, typically 25 minutes in length, followed by a short break. The idea is that by working in small, manageable chunks of time, we can maintain a high level of focus without feeling overwhelmed. During each Pomodoro, you commit to working on a single task with no interruptions or distractions. After the 25-minute interval, you take a 5-minute break to recharge before starting the next Pomodoro. After completing 4 Pomodoros, you take a longer break, typically 15 to 30 minutes. This technique works by creating a sense of urgency and helping you avoid the temptation to check your phone or switch tasks. The short intervals make the task at hand feel less daunting, and the breaks provide a mental reset, helping you maintain focus over a longer period of time. The Pomodoro Technique also plays into the psychology of attention. By focusing on a single task for a set period of time, you allow your brain to enter a state of deep work, where you're fully immersed in the task and not distracted by external stimuli. Research has shown that our brains can only focus at a high level for a limited amount of time, and by structuring our work into manageable intervals, we can make the most of our cognitive resources. This technique also reduces the likelihood of procrastination, as the time commitment feels more achievable than working for hours on end. By breaking down your work into smaller focused bursts, you're able to build momentum and make significant progress on even the most challenging tasks. Mindfulness and focus, training your brain to stay present. In addition to external strategies like creating a conducive environment and using time management techniques, developing an internal practice of mindfulness can also significantly improve focus. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present and engaged in the current moment, without being distracted by thoughts, worries, or external stimuli. When we are mindful, we become aware of the distractions that arise within our minds and can choose to let them pass without reacting. This practice helps train our brains to stay focused on the task at hand, rather than being pulled away by distractions. Mindfulness can be cultivated through meditation, breathing exercises, or simply paying attention to your thoughts throughout the day. The key is to develop a non-judgmental awareness of your thoughts, recognizing when they start to wander and gently guiding your attention back to the present moment. Over time, practicing mindfulness can strengthen your ability to focus for longer periods, as you become more adept at redirecting your attention whenever distractions arise. In addition to improving focus, mindfulness also has a host of other benefits, including reduced stress, improved emotional regulation, and enhanced cognitive performance. By incorporating mindfulness into your daily routine, you can develop greater resilience to distractions and enhance your overall ability to focus. By the end of this chapter, you should have a deeper understanding of how distractions affect our ability to focus and the various strategies you can implement to manage them. From controlling your environment to utilizing techniques like the Pomodoro technique and practicing mindfulness, there are a variety of tools at your disposal to help you maintain focus in a world full of distractions. While distractions are an inevitable part of modern life, they don't have to control your productivity. By being intentional about how you spend your time and energy, you can cultivate a state of deep focus that allows you to accomplish more and move closer to your goals. Focus is not a skill that comes naturally. It's something that requires practice, discipline, and commitment. But with the right strategies in place, you can develop the focus necessary to achieve your most important tasks and unlock your full potential. Chapter 9. Building Habits of Excellence: How Small Changes Can Lead to Big Results. In our fast-paced world, the idea of transformation often feels overwhelming. The desire for instant results, quick fixes that promise to turn our lives around in a matter of days or weeks, can be tempting, but they rarely lead to lasting change. The reality is that true transformation is built on the foundation of small, consistent actions that compound over time. In this chapter, we will explore how to develop habits that will set you on a path of excellence. We will look at the science behind habit formation, the steps you need to take to build lasting habits, and how to overcome common obstacles that stand in the way of progress. By the end of this chapter, you will understand how small, intentional changes can lead to extraordinary results, helping you master your mind and maintain a level of focus that can drive you towards success. Habits are powerful forces in our lives. They shape the way we think, feel, and behave. In fact, research shows that nearly 40% of our daily actions are driven by habits, automatic behaviors that we don't even think about. These habitual actions can be both positive and negative depending on the choices we make. The key to building habits that foster excellence lies in understanding how they form and what triggers them. At the core of every habit is a cue, a routine, and a reward. The cue is the trigger that prompts the habit, the routine is the behavior we engage in, and the reward is the positive feeling or outcome we experience after completing the behavior. For example, the cue could be waking up in the morning, the routine might involve exercising, and the reward could be the boost of energy or sense of accomplishment that follows. The process of habit formation begins with small decisions, often so insignificant that they go unnoticed. These decisions might seem trivial, but over time, they accumulate and the behavior becomes ingrained in our daily lives. It's important to understand that the brain seeks efficiency, and habits are the brain's way of conserving energy. Instead of having to consciously think through every action, your brain automates repetitive behaviors, allowing you to focus on other tasks. However, the automatic nature of habits can work against us if we're not intentional about the habits we create. If we allow ourselves to fall into habits that don't serve our goals, such as procrastination or mindless scrolling on social media, we are essentially setting ourselves up for failure. The key to success lies in taking control of our habits, intentionally replacing harmful ones with those that align with our values and ambitions. The science of habit formation: how small changes become big results. Understanding the science behind habit formation can empower you to take control of your life and create habits that will lead to excellence. Habits are formed through a neurological process known as the habit loop. This loop begins with a cue, followed by a routine, and ends with a reward. The brain's involvement in this loop is crucial because it helps reinforce the behavior over time. When we repeat a habit, the brain forms new neural pathways that make the behavior more automatic, reducing the cognitive effort required to perform it. This is why habits can be so hard to break. The more frequently you engage in a behavior, the stronger the neural pathway becomes, making it easier and easier to repeat the behavior without thinking. The role of dopamine, the brain's feel-good neurotransmitter, also plays a key part in habit formation. When we complete a task and experience a reward, our brain releases dopamine, which reinforces the connection between the behavior and the positive feeling. Over time, this creates a feedback loop, making the habit more appealing and ingraining it into our daily routine. This is why habits that provide immediate rewards, such as eating junk food or watching TV, can become so ingrained. They offer a quick dopamine hit that keeps us coming back for more, even when we know they don't align with our long-term goals. On the flip side, habits that require delayed gratification, like exercising or working on a challenging project, may not offer immediate rewards, but lead to greater long-term benefits. To create habits of excellence, it's important to leverage this scientific understanding of the habit loop. The first step is to identify the cues that trigger your current habits. This could be anything from feeling stressed, which prompts you to reach for a snack, to seeing your phone, which triggers you to check your email. Once you've identified the cues, the next step is to design a routine that aligns with your goals. If your goal is to build a habit of exercising in the morning, for example, your cue could be waking up, and your routine could be a 20-minute workout. The reward could be the sense of accomplishment and the physical energy you feel afterward. By consciously shaping the cues, routines, and rewards in a way that aligns with your values, you create a habit loop that works in your favor, rather than against it. Start small. The power of incremental progress. One of the most common mistakes people make when trying to build new habits is trying to do too much too soon. It's easy to get excited about making big changes, but the truth is, trying to overhaul your entire life at once can be overwhelming and lead to burnout. Research has shown that small incremental changes are more effective for long-term success than attempting radical transformations all at once. When it comes to habit formation, starting small is crucial. Rather than aiming to exercise for an hour every day right away, start by committing to just 10 or 15 minutes a day. The key is to build consistency. By starting small and gradually increasing the time or effort involved, you'll develop the momentum needed to stick with the habit long enough for it to become ingrained. The concept of starting small also ties into the idea of compounding growth. Just as small amounts of money invested consistently can grow into substantial wealth over time, small actions repeated consistently can lead to significant personal growth. The compound effect of habits means that every time you repeat a behavior, you're investing in your future success. This is why small changes are so powerful. They may seem insignificant in the moment, but when added together, they can lead to massive results. Whether it's spending 10 minutes each day reading a book, writing a page of a book, or practicing a new skill, the key is consistency. Over time, these small actions accumulate, and the results become more and more noticeable. Overcoming obstacles, dealing with setbacks, and staying committed. No matter how motivated or disciplined we are, setbacks are inevitable. Whether it's missing a workout, eating an unhealthy meal, or failing to meet a deadline, the journey to building habits of excellence is rarely a straight line. The key to success lies in how we respond to these setbacks. Many people fall into the trap of thinking that a single mistake or failure means they've failed altogether. They give up on their goals entirely because they feel they've messed up one time. However, this all-or-nothing thinking is one of the biggest barriers to success. The truth is that setbacks are a natural part of the process, and they provide valuable opportunities for growth and learning. When you encounter a setback, it's important to reframe your thinking. Instead of viewing the setback as a failure, view it as a learning experience. What went wrong? What can you do differently next time? This mindset shift can help you bounce back more quickly and stay on track toward your goals. Another powerful strategy for overcoming setbacks is to focus on progress rather than perfection. Rather than aiming to be perfect, strive for consistent improvement. Even if you miss a day of exercise or make a poor food choice, remember that one setback doesn't define your progress. It's the overall trajectory that matters. By focusing on incremental progress, you'll be more likely to stay motivated and keep moving forward, even when obstacles arise. Building habits of excellence is not a quick fix. It's a journey that requires patience, consistency, and commitment. But by understanding the science behind habit formation, starting small and staying committed in the face of setbacks, you can transform your life. Remember, it's the small daily actions that lead to big results. Focus on creating habits that align with your values and long-term goals, and over time, you'll find that excellence becomes second nature. With each small step, you'll be building a life of purpose, focus, and achievement. The power to change is in your hands. It's time to take that first small step. Chapter 10. Mastering Mental Clarity. Clearing the noise to find focus. In our fast-paced, hyper-connected world, achieving mental clarity has become more elusive than ever before. Between the constant barrage of notifications, the demands of daily life, and the overwhelming pressure to perform, it's no wonder that many people feel mentally scattered and unfocused. Mental clarity, the ability to focus your mind and channel your energy into what matters most, is a skill that can be cultivated, but it requires intention and practice. In this chapter, we'll explore the importance of mental clarity, how distractions cloud your mind, and practical strategies to clear the mental clutter. We'll also examine how mental clarity contributes to greater productivity, decision-making, and emotional well-being, and why it is essential for maintaining focus in an increasingly distracted world. Mental clarity is more than just the absence of distractions. It's a state of mind in which you can think clearly, prioritize effectively, and make decisions with confidence. When your mind is clear, you can engage fully in the task at hand without being sidetracked by irrelevant thoughts or external noise. This mental sharpness allows you to access your creativity, solve problems efficiently, and operate at your highest potential. Yet, in a world that is constantly vying for our attention, achieving mental clarity often feels like an uphill battle. From the ping of a new email to the constant flow of information from social media, distractions are everywhere, pulling your focus in a million different directions. If left unchecked, these distractions can overwhelm your mind, leaving you feeling mentally exhausted and unable to concentrate on anything meaningful. The first step in mastering mental clarity is recognizing the impact that distractions have on your mind. Every time you switch from one task to another, whether it's checking your phone, reading an email, or responding to a message, you're not just shifting your attention, you're also taxing your brain. Studies have shown that multitasking can decrease productivity and increase cognitive load. When you constantly switch between tasks, your brain has to expend additional energy to refocus, which ultimately leads to mental fatigue. Moreover, this constant shifting can make it difficult to get into a state of deep focus where you can perform at your best. To achieve mental clarity, it's essential to reduce the number of distractions in your environment and create the conditions necessary for sustained focus. The nature of distractions. How they cloud your mind. Distractions come in many forms. Some are external, such as the buzzing of your phone or the noise in a crowded office, while others are internal, like racing thoughts or worries about the future. External distractions are often easier to manage, as they can be minimized by turning off notifications, setting boundaries with others, or working in a quiet space. Internal distractions, on the other hand, are more insidious and harder to control. These distractions often take the form of negative thoughts, self-doubt, and mental clutter that can prevent you from focusing on the task at hand. Internal distractions can be particularly challenging because they're tied to your emotions and mindset, making them difficult to shake off. When you're distracted, your brain operates at a lower level of efficiency. Research has shown that distractions trigger the release of cortisol, the stress hormone, which can impair your cognitive functions such as memory, attention, and decision-making. The more distracted you are, the more difficult it becomes to regain focus, leading to a cycle of stress and inefficiency. This is why it's essential to address both external and internal distractions in order to achieve mental clarity. External distractions can be controlled through environmental changes, while internal distractions require mental strategies and a shift in mindset. By taking steps to minimize both types of distractions, you can create a mental environment that supports focus and clarity. One of the most effective strategies for managing distractions is mindfulness. Mindfulness involves paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It's about observing your thoughts, emotions, and sensations with a sense of curiosity and acceptance, rather than reacting to them impulsively. When you practice mindfulness, you train your brain to become less reactive to distractions, allowing you to return to your task with greater ease. This practice also helps you develop greater awareness of your internal distractions, such as negative self-talk or unproductive thought patterns, and allows you to consciously let go of them. By incorporating mindfulness into your daily routine, you can create a sense of calm and focus that enhances your mental clarity. Strategies for clearing mental clutter. Creating the conditions for focus. Achieving mental clarity doesn't happen by chance. It requires deliberate action and intention. To clear the mental clutter and create the conditions for focus, you need to cultivate habits and routines that support a clear mind. One of the first steps in this process is decluttering your physical environment. The state of your environment has a direct impact on your mental state. A cluttered, disorganized space can lead to a cluttered, disorganized mind. When your surroundings are chaotic, it's harder to focus and prioritize effectively. By taking the time to organize your workspace, eliminate unnecessary distractions, and create a calming environment, you're setting the stage for mental clarity. This might mean cleaning up your desk, putting away your phone, or creating a quiet space where you can concentrate without interruptions. Another effective strategy for clearing mental clutter is to establish a daily routine that supports focus. A well-structured routine can help reduce decision fatigue, minimize distractions, and set clear expectations for your day. When you have a set routine, your mind doesn't have to waste energy deciding what to do next. Instead, you can simply follow the plan and focus on executing each task to the best of your ability. For example, you might begin your day with a morning ritual that includes meditation, journaling, and goal setting. This helps to center your mind and set a positive tone for the rest of the day. By creating a routine that includes intentional breaks, focused work periods, and self-care practices, you can maintain mental clarity throughout the day and avoid burnout. The role of rest and recovery in mental clarity. Achieving mental clarity is not just about focusing harder. It's also about allowing your brain the rest and recovery it needs to function at its best. In our culture of constant busyness, rest is often seen as a luxury or an afterthought. However, rest is an essential component of mental clarity. When you're constantly pushing yourself without taking time to recharge, your brain becomes fatigued and your ability to focus diminishes. Sleep, in particular, plays a critical role in mental clarity. During sleep, your brain processes information, consolidates memories, and clears out toxins that have built up throughout the day. Without sufficient rest, your cognitive performance suffers, and you may find it more difficult to focus, think clearly, or make sound decisions. In addition to sleep, regular breaks throughout the day are essential for maintaining mental clarity. Research has shown that working for long periods without taking breaks leads to diminished performance and increased mental fatigue. To counteract this, try implementing techniques like the Pomodoro technique, where you work in focused intervals followed by short breaks. These breaks give your brain a chance to reset and recharge, helping you maintain mental clarity throughout the day. It's also important to make time for activities that promote relaxation and stress relief, such as deep breathing, stretching, or spending time in nature. These practices help calm the mind and reduce the mental clutter that can interfere with focus. Building mental resilience, strengthening your focus over time. Mastering mental clarity is an ongoing process that requires practice and resilience. It's not something you can achieve overnight, but rather something that you cultivate over time through consistent effort. One of the keys to building mental resilience is to embrace the idea of progress rather than perfection. It's easy to become frustrated when you struggle to stay focused or when distractions pull you off course. However, the goal isn't to be perfect, it's to be resilient in the face of distractions and setbacks. Every time you refocus after being distracted, you're strengthening your ability to maintain clarity in the future. Another important aspect of building mental resilience is developing a growth mindset. People with a growth mindset believe that their abilities can be developed through effort and learning. This mindset encourages them to view challenges as opportunities for growth, rather than as obstacles to be avoided. When you adopt a growth mindset, you become more resilient in the face of setbacks and more motivated to continue improving your mental clarity. You'll also be more open to experimenting with different strategies for managing distractions and boosting focus, knowing that each attempt is a step toward greater mental mastery. Mastering mental clarity is not a one-time achievement, but a continuous journey. By understanding the nature of distractions, creating an environment that fosters focus, and incorporating mindfulness, rest, and resilience into your daily routine, you can clear the mental clutter and unlock your full potential. Mental clarity is the foundation of sustained focus, productivity, and emotional well-being. By dedicating yourself to cultivating this skill, you will find yourself better equipped to navigate the challenges of a distracted world, make better decisions, and ultimately achieve the success you desire. Chapter 11. The Art of Deep Work, Harnessing Focus for Peak Performance. In the modern world, distractions are abundant, and the ability to focus deeply has become a rare skill. The constant buzz of smartphones, emails, social media, and the pervasive nature of multitasking create an environment in which it seems almost impossible to concentrate for long periods. Yet, despite these challenges, one of the most effective ways to achieve extraordinary levels of productivity and success is through deep work. Deep work is the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task, and it is a skill that is crucial for achieving mastery in any field. In this chapter, we'll explore the concept of deep work, why it's so valuable in today's world, and practical strategies to help you cultivate and harness this powerful tool for peak performance. At the heart of deep work is the ability to focus on a single task for an extended period, blocking out all other distractions and allowing yourself to become fully immersed in your work. This type of work is not only about completing tasks more efficiently, but also about producing high-quality, meaningful output. Deep work involves engaging with your task at a level that taps into your full cognitive abilities, allowing you to achieve more in less time. In contrast, shallow work, tasks that are non-cognitively demanding and often interrupted, can leave you feeling busy but unproductive. While shallow work has its place in our daily routines, it is the ability to engage in deep work that leads to true professional growth and personal satisfaction. However, deep work is a skill that requires practice and discipline to develop, and it is something that must be actively cultivated in the face of modern-day distractions. The benefits of deep work extend beyond simply getting more done. By engaging in deep work, you tap into your highest potential for creativity, problem-solving, and critical thinking. This is because deep work allows you to enter a state of flow, an optimal state of consciousness where you are fully immersed in your task. Time seems to stand still, and your performance is at its peak. In this state, you are not only more productive, but also more innovative, as your brain has the space and freedom to think deeply, connect ideas, and solve complex problems. Flow is the mental state where breakthroughs happen and where your best work is produced. Without deep work, achieving this level of focus and creativity becomes increasingly difficult. The science behind deep work, how the brain operates in a state of focus. To truly appreciate the power of deep work, it's important to understand how our brains function during periods of intense focus. Research into cognitive performance has shown that our brains are capable of incredible feats of concentration when we eliminate distractions and focus on one task at a time. When you engage in deep work, your brain operates in a state of heightened attention, which is both cognitively demanding and highly rewarding. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for executive functions like decision-making, problem-solving, and self-control, is activated in full force during deep work. This area of the brain requires significant energy and focus to perform at its highest level, which is why working deeply for extended periods can be mentally exhausting. However, the mental fatigue that comes with deep work is not the same as the exhaustion caused by shallow work. While shallow work may leave you feeling drained due to constant interruptions and multitasking, deep work leaves you with a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment. The reason for this is that deep work taps into the brain's reward systems, releasing dopamine when you make progress and achieve milestones. This feedback loop reinforces the desire to continue working deeply, creating a sense of intrinsic motivation. The more you engage in deep work, the more your brain becomes conditioned to enjoy the process, and the more efficiently you can enter a state of flow. Interestingly, studies have shown that our ability to focus deeply has been negatively impacted by the increasing amount of information and distractions that we encounter on a daily basis. The constant stimulation from emails, social media, and the rapid pace of modern life have conditioned our brains to crave instant gratification and short bursts of attention. This has led to a decline in our ability to concentrate for long periods of time, making deep work seem like an almost unattainable goal. However, just as the brain can be conditioned to crave distraction, it can also be trained to regain the capacity for sustained attention. This is where the intentional practice of deep work comes in. The rules for engaging in deep work. Practical strategies for mastering focus. Mastering deep work is not a matter of simply trying harder to focus. It involves implementing specific strategies that can help you structure your work and environment in a way that minimizes distractions and maximizes focus. The first rule of deep work is to make it a priority. In a world full of competing demands for your time, it's essential to set aside uninterrupted blocks of time for deep work. This might mean scheduling time on your calendar, setting boundaries with coworkers or family members, and turning off all distractions such as your phone, email notifications, or social media. By actively carving out time for deep work, you're signaling to yourself and others that this work is important and deserving of your full attention. Another key strategy for engaging in deep work is to create a dedicated space for it. This could be a quiet room in your house, a library, or a coffee shop where distractions are minimal. The goal is to create an environment that supports your focus and minimizes interruptions. This space should be free of clutter and distractions, with everything you need to perform your deep work readily available. Creating a physical space that is conducive to deep work helps signal to your brain that it is time to focus and work at a high level. In addition to a dedicated workspace, it's also essential to establish a routine for deep work. This involves setting a regular time each day to engage in focused work, as well as creating a ritual or set of habits that help you transition into deep work mode. For example, you might begin each session with a short meditation, a few minutes of breathing exercises, or a quick review of your goals for the day. These routines help to train your brain to recognize when it's time to focus and prepare for deep work. Over time, this ritual becomes a signal to your mind that it's time to enter a state of focus, making it easier to get started and stay engaged. Overcoming challenges to deep work, managing distractions, and mental fatigue. While deep work is incredibly rewarding, it's not without its challenges. One of the most common obstacles to deep work is the temptation of distractions. In our digitally connected world, distractions are never more than a click away. Whether it's checking your phone, scrolling through social media, or responding to an email, distractions are constantly vying for your attention. To combat this, it's essential to actively manage your environment and make distractions as inconvenient as possible. This might involve using apps that block social media or limit your screen time, or it could mean placing your phone out of sight during deep work sessions. The more you can eliminate distractions from your environment, the easier it will be to stay focused. Another challenge that many people face when engaging in deep work is mental fatigue. Deep work can be mentally exhausting, especially when you're working on complex or demanding tasks. To overcome this, it's important to recognize the need for rest and recovery. Taking regular breaks during deep work sessions is essential for maintaining focus and preventing burnout. The Pomodoro technique, which involves working in focused intervals, followed by short breaks, is one popular method for balancing deep work with recovery. In addition to taking breaks, it's important to make time for rest and relaxation outside of work. Adequate sleep, exercise, and downtime are essential for maintaining the energy and cognitive capacity needed for deep work. Building a lifestyle of deep work, long-term strategies for success. Deep work is not something that can be mastered overnight. It is a skill that requires ongoing practice, discipline, and intentional effort. However, the more you incorporate deep work into your daily routine, the easier it becomes to enter a state of flow and perform at your highest level. Over time, you'll begin to notice the cumulative benefits of deep work: greater productivity, higher quality output, and a deeper sense of fulfillment in your work. One of the most powerful long-term strategies for building a lifestyle of deep work is to embrace the idea of monotasking. In a world that glorifies multitasking, it can be tempting to juggle multiple tasks at once. However, research has shown that multitasking actually reduces productivity and hinders cognitive performance. To cultivate deep work, it's essential to focus on one task at a time, giving it your full attention and energy. This requires resisting the temptation to check your email or phone during work sessions and committing to the task at hand. Over time, monotasking becomes a habit that reinforces your ability to engage in deep work consistently. Another important long-term strategy is to cultivate the discipline of saying no. In order to make time for deep work, it's necessary to recognize that you can't do everything. Saying no to non-essential tasks, meetings, or distractions is a critical component of creating the time and space needed for focused work. By being intentional with your time and saying no to the things that don't align with your goals, you create the opportunity for deep work to thrive. Deep work is the cornerstone of success in today's fast-paced, distraction-filled world. By embracing this powerful concept, you can unlock your potential for peak performance and productivity. With the right strategies, habits, and mindset, deep work can become a regular part of your routine, allowing you to focus at the highest level and achieve extraordinary results. In a world where shallow work dominates, those who master the art of deep work will stand out and thrive. Chapter 12. Cultivating Resilience. Mastering the mental toughness to overcome life's challenges. Resilience is a quality that has long been associated with success, but in a world where challenges and setbacks are inevitable, it has become a crucial skill for navigating the complexities of life. Whether it's facing personal hardships, professional failures, or the everyday stresses that life throws our way, resilience enables us to endure adversity and bounce back stronger than ever before. In this chapter, we will explore the concept of resilience in depth, examine the factors that contribute to mental toughness, and discuss practical strategies for cultivating the inner strength necessary to navigate and thrive in the face of life's inevitable challenges. Resilience is not simply about toughing it out when things get difficult. It's about developing a mindset that allows you to learn, adapt, and grow from adversity. It's about maintaining a sense of hope and optimism even when things aren't going as planned. Resilient individuals understand that setbacks and failures are an inherent part of life, and instead of being defeated by them, they use them as stepping stones toward greater success. This mindset shift is crucial because how we perceive challenges can profoundly impact our ability to overcome them. If we see adversity as an opportunity to grow, we are more likely to approach difficulties with a sense of curiosity and a willingness to learn, rather than with fear or defeat. The foundation of resilience lies in our ability to regulate our emotions and thoughts. Life's challenges often trigger intense emotions, fear, anger, frustration, and sadness that can cloud our judgment and make it difficult to think clearly. Resilient individuals, however, are able to acknowledge these emotions without letting them take control. Instead of allowing negative feelings to dictate their actions, they learn to observe their emotions from a distance and respond thoughtfully. This emotional regulation allows them to stay calm under pressure, make better decisions, and maintain focus even in the face of adversity. While it's natural to feel upset or discouraged when things go wrong, resilience enables us to move through these emotions without being overwhelmed by them. The power of a growth mindset, turning setbacks into opportunities. One of the most important aspects of resilience is having a growth mindset. This concept, first introduced by psychologist Carol Dweck, refers to the belief that our abilities and intelligence are not fixed, but can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance. People with a growth mindset view challenges as opportunities to grow rather than as threats to their self-worth. When faced with obstacles, they see them as chances to learn new skills, improve their performance, and become better versions of themselves. This mindset is essential for resilience because it allows individuals to see setbacks not as failures, but as part of the process of achieving long-term success. A growth mindset helps us to reframe the way we think about challenges. Instead of viewing setbacks as indications of our inadequacy, we can view them as learning experiences. For example, if you face a difficult project at work, a growth mindset would encourage you to see the challenge as a chance to develop new skills and problem-solving strategies, rather than as evidence that you aren't good enough. This shift in perspective not only reduces the fear of failure, but also increases motivation. When we believe that our efforts can lead to improvement, we are more likely to persevere in the face of challenges. This resilience enables us to continue working toward our goals, even when progress is slow or when setbacks occur. In practice, cultivating a growth mindset involves actively challenging our limiting beliefs. Many people have internalized the notion that their abilities are fixed, that they are either good or bad at certain things. And this belief can create a sense of helplessness when faced with difficulty. The key to developing a growth mindset is to recognize that effort, persistence, and learning can lead to improvement in any area of life. When we adopt this belief, we shift our focus from "I can't do this" to "I can learn how to do this," which opens up new possibilities for growth and success. By consistently reminding ourselves that we can grow and improve, we strengthen our resilience and enhance our ability to overcome obstacles. Building emotional resilience, developing the inner strength to persevere. Emotional resilience is a critical component of overall resilience. It is the ability to remain emotionally stable and balanced in the face of adversity, stress, or difficult circumstances. Life is full of unpredictable events that can stir up strong emotions, and the way we manage these emotions can determine our ability to cope effectively. Emotional resilience is not about suppressing emotions or pretending that everything is fine. It's about acknowledging and processing our feelings in a healthy way. When we learn to manage our emotions, we prevent them from hijacking our actions and making situations worse. One of the most powerful tools for building emotional resilience is mindfulness. Mindfulness involves paying attention to the present moment without judgment, and it can be incredibly effective for managing stress and negative emotions. When we practice mindfulness, we become more aware of our thoughts and feelings, which allows us to respond more thoughtfully to challenges. Instead of reacting impulsively to a stressful situation, we can pause, take a deep breath, and choose how we want to respond. This emotional awareness and control help us to stay grounded and focused, even in the most difficult circumstances. By regularly practicing mindfulness, we build emotional resilience and strengthen our ability to navigate life's ups and downs. Another important aspect of emotional resilience is developing self-compassion. When we face adversity, it's easy to be hard on ourselves. We may feel like we're not doing enough, that we're failing, or that we're unworthy of success. However, self-compassion involves treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer to a friend in times of struggle. It means acknowledging our mistakes and shortcomings without judgment and recognizing that we are human and imperfect. Self-compassion allows us to be gentle with ourselves, especially during tough times, which in turn enables us to recover more quickly and continue moving forward. Building physical resilience, the connection between body and mind. While emotional resilience is essential for overcoming challenges, it's important not to overlook the connection between physical health and resilience. Physical resilience refers to the body's ability to withstand and recover from physical stressors, such as illness, injury, or exhaustion. Our physical health has a profound impact on our mental and emotional well-being, and taking care of our bodies is crucial for building resilience. When we prioritize physical health, we are better equipped to handle life's challenges with strength and endurance. Exercise is one of the most effective ways to build physical resilience. Regular physical activity has been shown to improve mood, reduce stress, and increase energy levels. Exercise releases endorphins, the brain's feel-good chemicals, which help to elevate mood and combat feelings of anxiety or depression. Additionally, exercise strengthens the cardiovascular system, improves sleep quality, and enhances overall physical endurance, which enables us to handle physical and mental stress more effectively. Incorporating regular exercise into your daily routine can significantly improve your resilience by boosting both your physical and mental health. In addition to exercise, maintaining a healthy diet, getting enough sleep, and practicing relaxation techniques such as yoga or deep breathing can further enhance physical resilience. A balanced diet provides the nutrients necessary for the body to function optimally, while sleep is crucial for recovery and cognitive function. When we are well rested and nourished, our bodies are better able to cope with stress and physical challenges. In combination with emotional resilience techniques, taking care of your physical health creates a solid foundation for overall resilience, enabling you to bounce back from setbacks with greater strength and energy. Resilience in action, applying mental toughness to real-life challenges. While resilience is an internal quality, it is also something that is tested in real-world situations. Resilient individuals apply their mental toughness in various aspects of their lives, whether in their careers, relationships, or personal growth. When faced with a challenge, resilient people take proactive steps to address the situation, rather than succumbing to passivity or self-doubt. They acknowledge the difficulty of the situation, but they don't let it define them. Instead, they focus on what they can control and take action to move forward. For example, consider someone who loses their job unexpectedly. While it's natural to feel discouraged and uncertain, a resilient person would view this setback as an opportunity to reassess their career goals, acquire new skills, and explore new job opportunities. Rather than dwelling on the loss, they would focus on what they can do to improve their situation. This proactive mindset enables them to navigate the challenge with a sense of purpose and determination. Over time, these actions build confidence and reinforce their belief in their ability to overcome future obstacles. Similarly, resilient individuals apply mental toughness in their personal relationships. When faced with conflict or adversity in relationships, they remain calm and constructive, focusing on finding solutions rather than blaming or becoming defensive. They understand that challenges are a natural part of any relationship and that overcoming them together can strengthen the bond. Resilience in relationships requires patience, empathy, and the ability to communicate effectively, even in difficult situations. Resilience is a skill that can be developed over time, and it plays a crucial role in our ability to thrive in the face of life's challenges. By cultivating a growth mindset, building emotional and physical resilience, and applying mental toughness to real-life situations, we can learn to navigate adversity with strength and grace. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulties, but about facing them head-on with the confidence that we have the inner resources to overcome whatever comes our way. Chapter 13. Time Mastery. Harnessing the power of prioritization for peak focus. In the modern world, where the clock seems to race faster with every passing moment, time is arguably our most valuable resource. Despite the many technological advancements designed to make our lives easier, we find ourselves increasingly overwhelmed by the demands on our attention. The flood of emails, messages, meetings, tasks, and responsibilities creates a constant whirlwind, leaving us scrambling to keep up. Yet, in this overwhelming environment, there lies a simple but profoundly powerful concept that can transform the way we approach our daily lives. Time mastery. Time mastery is not about working harder or adding more hours to the day, but about making deliberate choices regarding how we allocate our time to maximize focus, productivity, and well-being. It's about recognizing that time is a limited resource and learning how to prioritize effectively so that we can devote our energy to the things that truly matter. Mastering time begins with understanding that not all tasks are created equal. Every day we face a multitude of obligations, both urgent and important. and it's easy to fall into the trap of responding to the loudest or most immediate demands on our attention. This is where prioritization becomes an invaluable skill. When we fail to prioritize, we end up spending our precious time on activities that may not align with our long-term goals or values. We become reactive instead of proactive and lose sight of the bigger picture. This chapter is dedicated to equipping you with the tools and mindset needed to regain control of your time by mastering the art of prioritization. Prioritization is not a one-size-fits-all strategy. It requires a deep understanding of your own goals, values, and aspirations. To master time, you must first identify what truly matters to you. The process of effective prioritization starts with asking the fundamental question, what is worth my time? This question forces you to confront your objectives on a deeper level and clarify your intentions. When you know your priorities, you can better evaluate the opportunities and demands that come your way, allowing you to make choices that are aligned with your vision of success. Without this clarity, it's easy to become distracted by the urgent and the trivial, losing sight of what truly contributes to your growth and fulfillment. The Eisenhower Matrix, a framework for effective prioritization. One of the most powerful tools for mastering time and prioritizing effectively is the Eisenhower Matrix, a time management method popularized by former U.S. President Dwight D. Eisenhower. This framework helps individuals categorize tasks based on urgency and importance, creating a clear visual representation of what requires immediate attention and what can be deferred or delegated. The matrix consists of 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1, urgent and important. Quadrant 2, not urgent but important. Quadrant 3, urgent but not important. And Quadrant 4, not urgent and not important. Understanding where each task fits within this framework can significantly enhance your decision-making process and ensure that your time is spent on what truly matters. Quadrant 1 is where crises and pressing matters reside. Those tasks that require immediate attention, such as a deadline-driven project or an urgent problem that demands resolution. While these tasks are important and must be addressed, spending too much time in Quadrant 1 can lead to burnout, stress, and a reactive approach to work. If we constantly focus on putting out fires, we neglect the long-term goals and aspirations that will lead to greater success and fulfillment. This is why Quadrant 1 should be managed efficiently without allowing it to consume all of your time and energy. Quadrant 2, however, is the sweet spot for prioritization. This quadrant contains tasks that are important but not urgent, such as long-term projects, personal development, relationship building, and strategic planning. Tasks in this quadrant often get overlooked in favor of the urgent demands of Quadrant 1, but they are the ones that truly move the needle in terms of long-term success and well-being. By dedicating time to Quadrant 2 activities, we proactively work on what matters most without being forced to react to emergencies. This is where peak focus can be achieved, as it allows you to invest time and energy in the activities that align with your core values and ultimate objectives. Mastering time requires recognizing the significance of Quadrant 2 and intentionally prioritizing it over the distractions of the urgent but unimportant. Quadrant 3 consists of tasks that are urgent but not important, such as interruptions, low-value requests, or demands that can be easily delegated. These tasks often feel pressing, but they do not contribute meaningfully to your goals. In the age of constant notifications and digital distractions, it's easy to get caught up in tasks that seem urgent but are not aligned with your priorities. The key to mastering time is learning to minimize the amount of time spent in Quadrant 3, either by delegating these tasks or setting clear boundaries to avoid them altogether. While you may not be able to eliminate all interruptions, you can take steps to limit their impact on your focus and productivity. Finally, Quadrant 4 represents tasks that are neither urgent nor important, such as mindless distractions, social media scrolling, or low-priority activities that provide little to no value. These tasks often serve as time wasters, robbing you of the opportunity to focus on what matters most. While it's natural to want to unwind and relax, spending excessive time in Quadrant 4 can leave you feeling unfulfilled and unproductive. To truly master your time, it's essential to minimize your engagement with Quadrant 4 activities and allocate your energy toward more meaningful pursuits. Time blocking, a strategy for deep focus and increased productivity. While prioritization helps us identify what deserves our time, time blocking is the technique that allows us to execute our priorities with focus and efficiency. Time blocking is a method where you schedule specific blocks of time for specific tasks or activities, ensuring that you allocate your attention and energy toward high-priority work. The key to effective time blocking is intentionality. Instead of allowing your day to be dictated by reactive tasks and distractions, you proactively set aside time for the activities that will move you closer to your goals. One of the main benefits of time blocking is that it helps to minimize distractions. By dedicating a specific block of time to a task, you eliminate the temptation to multitask or switch between different activities. This practice is particularly effective for tasks that require deep focus and concentration, such as writing, creative work, or problem solving. Time blocking creates a structure that supports focus and discipline, ensuring that you can make meaningful progress on your most important projects. Additionally, by incorporating breaks and downtime into your schedule, you can prevent burnout and maintain mental clarity throughout the day. Time blocking also supports the idea of single tasking rather than multitasking. Multitasking may seem like an efficient way to get more done, but research has shown that it can actually decrease productivity and increase cognitive load. When we multitask, we constantly switch between tasks, which can lead to errors, mental fatigue, and reduced focus. By focusing on one task at a time and dedicating uninterrupted blocks of time to it, you enhance your ability to work with deep concentration and produce higher quality results. To make time blocking even more effective, it's important to be realistic about how long tasks will take. One common mistake is overestimating how much can be accomplished in a given time block, leading to feelings of frustration and inadequacy. Instead, take the time to assess the complexity and scope of each task and allocate appropriate amounts of time for completion. This helps to ensure that you stay on track and avoid the stress of trying to fit too much into an unrealistic schedule. Saying no, setting boundaries for better time management. One of the most powerful skills in time mastery is the ability to say no. We are constantly bombarded with requests for our time, whether it's an invitation to a meeting, a favor from a colleague, or a social engagement. While it's important to be flexible and responsive, saying yes to everything can quickly lead to overwhelm and burnout. Learning to say no is not about being uncooperative or selfish. It's about setting clear boundaries that protect your time and energy. Saying no requires discernment and self-awareness. You need to know what is truly important to you and what aligns with your goals, values, and priorities. Saying no to low-priority tasks frees up space for the things that matter most. When you say yes to everything, you spread yourself thin and dilute your focus. By respectfully declining requests that don't align with your priorities, you create more time and energy for the work and activities that truly contribute to your well-being and success. Boundaries also extend to the digital realm. In today's connected world, it's easy to feel like we need to respond to every email, message, or notification immediately. However, the constant barrage of digital distractions can hinder our ability to focus on deep work. To regain control of your time, consider setting clear boundaries around your digital interactions. Set specific times during the day to check emails or messages, and resist the urge to constantly monitor your phone or inbox. By setting these boundaries, you protect your focus and create the space needed to engage in meaningful work. time mastery is an ongoing practice that requires awareness, discipline, and a commitment to prioritizing what truly matters. By understanding the importance of effective prioritization, utilizing strategies like time blocking, and learning to set boundaries, you can regain control of your time and harness its power for greater focus, productivity, and success. The goal is not to be busy, but to be intentional with your time, investing it in the activities that align with your deepest values and most important goals. When you master time, you unlock the potential to create a life that is not only productive, but also fulfilling. Chapter 14. The Identity Shift. Becoming the kind of person who naturally focuses. To sustain peak focus in a world filled with distraction, we must go beyond systems, tools, and techniques. These are essential, yes, but they are only surface-level solutions. True transformation lies in identity. At the core of every habit, every choice, and every action is the person you believe yourself to be. If you still see yourself as someone who is scattered, easily distracted, or unmotivated, then no amount of productivity hacks will yield long-term results. You might get short bursts of improvement, but without an internal shift in how you see yourself, the pull of your old habits will eventually return. The final chapter of this audiobook is not about what to do. It's about who you are becoming. It's about crafting a focused identity so powerful, so aligned with your values and vision, that staying focused becomes natural, even effortless. Beliefs as self-fulfilling scripts. The beliefs we hold about ourselves are not merely passive ideas. They are active forces shaping our behavior. If you believe that you're just not a focused person, that belief silently guides how you show up each day. When a challenge arises that requires deep concentration, your subconscious mind says, "See, this isn't for you." If you've told yourself you're inconsistent, then even when you try to build new habits, you'll start with a mental foot already out the door. These identity statements function as internal scripts that instruct you how to act, and the mind, ever loyal, follows. That's the sneaky power of beliefs. They become self-fulfilling. But the same mechanism can work in your favor. When you start seeing yourself as someone who is focused, who values discipline, who follows through, you begin showing up in alignment with that vision. Behavior change becomes identity change, and from that identity flows a new way of living. Identity isn't static. It's fluid and can be reshaped through conscious repetition and experience. Think about the person you most admire for their ability to focus. Maybe it's a writer who rises early every day and writes without fail, or an athlete who trains with monk-like consistency, or a leader who seems immune to distractions. What you admire is not just their actions, but the identity behind those actions. To shift your own identity, you must begin to embody the traits you want to adopt, even before you feel ready. You act as if. You choose the behavior that aligns with your desired identity. You build evidence for the new version of yourself. Small wins, consistent steps, repeated affirmations, and slowly, the belief cements itself. Eventually, the line between trying to be focused and simply being focused begins to blur. Crafting your focused identity. Crafting a focused identity begins with clarity. Who exactly do you want to become? It's not enough to say, "I want to be focused." You need a vivid, emotionally resonant picture of the kind of person you are becoming. What do they do daily? How do they handle distractions? How do they make decisions? What values guide them? This is the beginning of conscious identity design. You stop defining yourself by your past and begin defining yourself by your potential. The mind is highly susceptible to identity cues. It listens attentively when you say, "I'm the kind of person who." So complete that sentence with intentional power. I'm the kind of person who protects their focus like a sacred resource. I'm the kind of person who keeps their promises to themselves. I'm the kind of person who finishes what they start. Once this identity is defined, the real work begins, not in thought, but in action. Every focused session you complete, every time you resist a distraction, every time you choose discipline over ease, you reinforce the identity you're building. These are not just wins on a task level. They are votes for the kind of person you're becoming. James Clear famously put it this way: every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. So the path to identity transformation is paved with consistent, meaningful action. But these actions must be anchored in belief. If you still view them as temporary or superficial, the identity shift won't stick. You must choose to internalize the new identity to say, "This is who I am now," and then live accordingly, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. Environment and language as identity anchors. Your environment plays a silent but powerful role in shaping your identity. It either affirms or contradicts the person you're becoming. A cluttered, chaotic environment reinforces a chaotic identity. A focused space, minimalist, intentional, distraction-free, supports a focused mind. But it's not just physical spaces. The digital environment matters just as much, if not more. Are your apps aligned with your desired identity? Do your phone's notifications serve your goals or steal your attention? What about your calendar, your workspace, your habits around media consumption? Every element of your environment is either nudging you toward focus or away from it. Time and again, research shows that environment often wins over willpower. So, build an environment that makes focus easier, not harder. This is identity building at the structural level. Language is another subtle but profound tool for identity reinforcement. The words you use, internally and externally, shape how you see yourself. Stop saying, "I'm trying to be more focused," or "I get distracted easily." These statements, while seemingly harmless, are declarations of identity, and the subconscious takes them as truth. Instead, use definitive, empowering language. I am focused. I stay calm in chaos. I follow through. Even if it feels like a stretch at first, repetition breeds familiarity, and familiarity breeds belief. Over time, your language reshapes your thoughts, and your thoughts reshape your identity. Combine language with evidence, those daily actions we discussed earlier, and your identity shift becomes irreversible. It's also important to examine the social language around you. Do the people you spend time with affirm your focused identity or subtly undermine it? If your circle constantly jokes about procrastination, celebrates busyness without productivity, or reinforces scattered behavior, that energy seeps into you. Surround yourself with people who elevate your focus, who speak the language of intention and discipline. Community shapes character, and character shapes destiny. Sustaining the shift, integration, and alignment. Creating a new identity isn't a one-time event, it's a process of integration. The ultimate test is not whether you can act focused for a few days or weeks, but whether focus becomes your default way of being. This requires alignment across all areas of life. If your goals, habits, values, and environments are aligned with your focused identity, the identity takes root and grows strong. If they're misaligned, you'll feel a constant internal tension, a push-pull between the person you want to be and the person you used to be. Integration means removing that friction. It means making sure that what you do, what you value, and how you see yourself are all moving in the same direction. To sustain the shift, it helps to engage in regular identity audits. Periodically ask yourself, are my daily choices reflecting the identity I'm building? Where am I slipping back into old patterns? What can I adjust, internally or externally, to better support my growth? These check-ins keep you conscious and adaptable. Remember, identity is not fixed. It's forged through repetition, awareness, and commitment. You're always becoming someone. The only question is, who? Visualization can be another powerful tool for identity integration. Take time each day to vividly imagine yourself living as the most focused version of you. Picture the way you carry yourself, how you speak, how you respond to distractions, how you complete your work. Engage all your senses. The brain doesn't always distinguish between imagined and real experiences. So, by rehearsing this identity in your mind, you begin to embody it more naturally in real life. Athletes use this technique, top performers use it, and now you can use it too, to make focus not just a skill, but a core part of who you are. The last piece of the puzzle is grace. Identity shifts are powerful, but they are not linear. You will have days when the old patterns come back. You'll get distracted, procrastinate, or fall short. This doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. Don't let a bad day become a broken identity. Instead, respond with compassion and course correct. Focus is not about being perfect. It's about returning to your center over and over again. It's about choosing the next moment to be different, no matter what the last moment looked like. With grace, discipline, and consistency, your focused identity will not only take shape, it will become unshakable.